I've been waiting for something like this all my life.
It's game time!
Just this moment for me to thank you for all the times, 'cause it's just one more night in the moonlight. Be it my side, you here with me now to make it one last dance in the limelight. Baby, it feels right, you here with me now to make it. Cause it's just one more night in the moonlight. Baby, at my side, you here with me now to make it one last dance in the limelight. Baby, it feels right, you here with me now to make it.
Yep.
Crowd was nuts.
Yeah.
Could you hear them?
You could hear the guys yelling. It was awesome. Yeah. Doing the stack pass. It was great.
Beat, dude. That was sensational.
The whole team did fantastic. The support crew, the pylon guys, everybody that we had. We're so honored to have so many black rifles.
We really are.
We couldn't do it without them. I mean, we have the biggest team of people out of any air show act.
We have like 30 people plus out there that to be able to do the show properly, and we have like the Aviator Paradigm fan. I guess that puts Oshkosh 2019 in the books. A high five for that. I need a glass of water, man. And we've been running. We've been running. Thank you guys for watching. You're awesome too. Thank you. Thank you. No. Last word. I win. No. Thank you.
Okay, so we are currently heading to Fly Michigan PPG to see our friends Justin Fox and Mike Cotter, and we're gonna do some flying hopefully tonight, but we may not get there in time, so it might be tomorrow morning. But looking forward to the next adventure.
Remember, was it something that you said? No.
I'm just gonna cover my face in sauce. It's delicious.
Oh, clear!
Nicely done. All right, I need to be a little more aggressive. Throw. Oh. Nice.
Good, all right. Right, and we was teaching you follow your knee down. But now there's an actual handle here. If you look down to the side, you see that handle. Yeah. So, you know, even if nothing else, if you're flailing, your arms are flailing, bring your, head for your knee and slide back.
You're gonna pull it out.
Pull it out.
Out to get the bag out of its carrier.
Right.
You're gonna pull it across your chest.
Then you can wait.
You're gonna
And
search
then you're
for
gonna
a clear area. You want to look for a clear target to throw to.
Exactly.
And then throw hard.
And throw it hard.
Okay.
What it is you're pulling out. You'll be pulling out a bag that looks just like that.
Yeah.
And inside that is the reserve. On the outside of it are the lines for the reserve, and they're daisy chained back and forth with rubber bands. So when you pull this thing out, it's going to have lines on it. The other side of it's going to have the connection point of all those lines are going to be attached to a bridle that comes
come
back
up over here,
That's not going to interact with you at that point. So you're going to pull it out, pull it across your chest, wait, and throw it.
Yeah.
Swing it and throw it. When the reserve deploys, that handle and that orange bag, they go away. They just float away. It's only holding and encasing the parachute itself.
Yeah. So this actually, this little casing, it actually pops open.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it's attached to that. This is attached to the bag in the casing. When you toss it, the line spools out and rips it out of that bag, and the bag just floats away.
The little orange silk liner in the handle
Yeah.
float away. The reserve then catches relative wind and deploys.
And hopefully then you can
And then you start disabling.
one of
Yep.
your lines.
Try to pull it all the way in.
The
Try to
lines
disable
in.
that glider to prevent downplaning.
And
And
then-
hopefully, if everything goes right, you're in a PLF, hugging a big ball of your paramotor or your paraglider, and preparing for that PLF. I don't know. There we are.
That was
That was fantastic.
pro move.
Can you remind me of the mnemonic? Kill, look,
Kill, look, pull,
pull,
clear.
clear,
So just
throw.
do it one time without
Yep.
doing it. Just look,
Yeah, we'll talk
kill,
through it.
Yep.
look where the
Kill, look, pull,
Clear.
and then put back in. 'Cause I didn't it that time.
That's the whole point.
Glider
Free
returns to
throw.
the flight.
This is why we don't have a reserve on when we're flying new students. Because you might say to a student, pull your reserve. We are just going to practice a reserve toss. Poof. Poof. Oh, sorry. That's why we don't teach with reserve.
Right to the board.
Because we have Brian's in the class.
All right, Brian. For real this time. Throw. Kill. Look. Pull. Clear. Throw. Oh.
It's still open. It's still open there.
Disable the glider. This one. We're doing our best to get you the basics down, but you're in survival mode. You're gonna do whatever you got to do to keep riding this ride until the airplane is back in the bag. You know what I'm saying? So this is not the time to check out. This is not time to watch your life flash before your eyes or anything like that. You need to stay committed to this maneuver until your feet are safely back on the ground. You're constantly working. Once you're done, once that reserve is out and it's overhead, you got to disable that glider. You got to get everything in to help prevent downplaning. You got to get in that good PLF, and you got to keep working the problem until the problem is solved.
All right. Kill. Nice. Hit the mark. Hit the mark.
Throw. Kill. Pull. Nice.
What do you forget?
Look. Go. Nice.
Nice.
Who's coming? Who's coming for the show?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Aviator Ask Aviator live stream. This is not the real live stream, as John would say. This is just the pre-show.
The
I would like
pre-show.
to welcome Kristen,
What's up, everybody?
#1 honored guest. No. How are you doing today?
I'm awesome.
Good.
How about you?
I'm tired. I'm going bowling tonight, and I'm really excited about it.
Oh yeah, and you had to work all day, and now you're
did.
gonna go out. I get it. And we're keeping you here for
You
the
are.
live stream.
How dare you?
Not good.
How's everyone doing? Let us know if you guys notice anything wrong with the audio or video. We're just trying to feel it out, see if everything's running correctly. Give us a shout out if you're here.
Right, say hi to us.
Say hi.
You know. Maybe we'll talk about a paramotor. I don't know.
Maybe we'll just sit here in silence. It is choppy. That's a bummer. Is the video choppy or the audio?
I know.
Is audio okay? Got this really big storm happening outside right now that just blew in like 5 minutes ago.
It's no good.
Kristen here got some video of me frantically running out to my car trying to get the window shut because my car is a Transformers, so
you need to fix that. Like,
I do.
I've
I've needed to since I bought it. Literally March.
Yeah. Or like get it an umbrella to like stick on the side of the car, like pop out a sunshade.
You know what? Polk County, it would not be.
It wouldn't be good. No, you're right.
It would be fine. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know, like it's normal, and you're just like, it wouldn't be good.
No, it really wouldn't be good. It's fine. It's all good.
Okay, you guys need more internet.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
Go ahead and pull your mic further. Yeah.
Towards me.
Yeah, keep going.
There you go.
Is that better?
Get it near your.
Why is there so far?
Do it. Do it.
Trying. It feels so high.
Lean in. Lean into the tap.
Oh, hey, this just completely fell off.
Uh-oh. We're breaking stuff.
It's fine.
This is why we do a pre-show.
This is fine. This is the purpose of the pre-show.
The pre-show.
This is fine.
Work out all the bugs. It's fine.
All right.
It's fine.
Okay. How's it looking?
Yeah. First
Is that
time
better, John?
watching. What's up, Mitchell? Hey, Joe. Mark. How's it going? Audrey. How are you? Rusty. What's up? We need more internet is what
We do. I think we do.
Bob says. We need more
If anyone
internet.
can still hear us or see us.
Right.
If you're wondering.
They were like, no, we don't approve it. He's like, stop spending money on anything but paramotors. No? Oh, the city. Okay, it wasn't us.
Hello, Daytona Beach.
No. Oh. We were trying to do
man.
too much here, and they were like, simmer down,
We got too
Aviator.
far ahead.
Simmer
Although faster
down.
internet would be so
Right?
nice.
What's up
So-
from Daytona Beach? Ooh, I wonder if is the weather nicer there than it is here.
Not.
Yeah, Jim.
It might be. I
don't
like
know.
Daytona Beach.
I don't.
Although it's so busy.
Yeah, it is kind of
My
busy.
sister lived down there for a few years.
I don't know. Yeah.
So if you guys are wondering where Eric is, he'll be here soon-ish.
Hopefully.
It's what time is
Right.
it? He will be here in
30 minutes.
31 minutes. It is currently 5:29. So we're just gonna sit here and talk about random stuff. Maybe paramotors, maybe
don't know.
not. We don't know.
We
We'll
don't
figure
know.
it out as we go. Is there
Right.
a ban from what?
Is there what?
I'm gonna let you read the questions because I still have.
Is there a
terrible vision.
ban from taking off in public beaches in Florida?
I think it.
I don't think it's a ban. I think it depends.
might
on
depend on the
what
beach and
you
the
are
location.
flying from.
Yeah, like Central West Coast. All of Central West Coast.
Central West Coast. You cannot do it.
What's up, Steven?
I know
Hello,
there are
Eric,
some beaches that you
Jim.
can fly from.
Hey, how's
Mark.
Sorry, go ahead.
What? No, what?
No, I'm my autopilot. I'm thinking out loud.
Oh.
Jim,
okay.
Sarah, didn't Ross come to see you, Jim? Pretty
Ooh.
sure he did.
He might be up there.
Where was that, Boston? Where was he?
Yeah, he was up there hanging out with
Good.
Johnson Q. I remember
Did he?
looking at their
I don't
posts.
know who he went to.
I was stalking them on Instagram. They were eating like lobster, and I was jealous. Yeah, it's no fun. What's up?
Now
Let's see.
I'm hungry, so thank you for that.
Oh yeah, they're still getting laggy video time. Boo. Aw.
Blame Florida. Blame the storms. It's great though. Y'all
Right.
should stop by.
It's still great for flying though in the mornings. Right now.
Yes. right now.
Right now,
Summertime
maybe.
is kind of like touch and go. No pun intended.
This is why we need to be like, I don't know, having a really cool place to fly from that's not the south where it's humid.
More than one location.
Right, we need
jump.
more than one location to
I
like
agree.
just train from. That
I
would be
completely agree.
awesome. Yeah, like that's cooler. That's not 100 degrees. You know, that would be really
You
nice.
mean that's not Florida
Maybe not Florida
or Arizona
or Arizona.
California?
Maybe like Oregon
So
or
maybe
like
like
Washington.
Antarctica? That's
No.
convenient.
I can see it now. Antarctica Aviator. No. I don't think
mean,
John would go.
I would go.
No, I don't know.
I would not be able to fly because I'd
You
be
couldn't fit
frozen.
in.
But
Right.
we do sell heated vests and
Yeah.
heated gloves.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah,
do.
we totally do.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Oh, Steven wants to know what's your dream. What place is your dream to fly? I know mine.
Me?
What's yours?
Oh gosh, you go first. Let me think about it.
Okay. Well, it's kind of two. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's two places.
We're allowed to have more than one.
I'm gonna
It's
have
okay.
so many,
It's
right?
okay. It's allowed.
I want to fly. One of our friends is actually there now, which I found out today. But in Dune de Playa in France, it's
my
the
gosh.
beaches there, and you do a lot of free flying. And I
That
have
would
seen.
be so
Oh
cool.
my gosh, right? You could just fly all day
Can you
long.
take me with you, please?
Right? Oh yeah, we should totally plan that. Like a girl paramotor trip, and just leave all these dudes behind.
Nobody would want to watch that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You're right.
no one wants to watch
No.
two female paramotor
Boo.
pilots.
Right.
What's that about?
No, they'd be like, "What? They don't know what they're
They
doing."
don't know what they're doing.
It's fine.
Thanks, Alex.
Hey, Alex, what's up? Yeah. Totally.
So second dream place, what is it?
It's I don't even know the actual name of it. It's in one of the Jean Baptiste videos, the weightless video, and he's flying over this. It looks like a big lake, and it looks incredible. I don't even know where it is, but I just want to go because he did it. Have you seen these videos that he does?
No, I haven't. I'm so bad about watching videos.
I don't watch like anyone's videos, like no one's.
I've heard his are really good,
except for that.
I've heard his
because
are
they're
really
great.
good.
They're very inspiring. They make me want to like just go all these cool places on adventures, like actually be the paramotor, like vagabond.
Be the person inspires.
Right. Like
Yeah.
I don't even like camping, but I would totally learn to love it if I could go to these places.
You don't like camping?
No. And I'm going to Oshkosh next week. Speaking of that,
Speaking of
I need
Oshkosh.
all of the tips for camping at Oshkosh because
Travel size containers. Oops,
What?
Sorry.
Of what? Of everything.
Everything you need.
Ah. Kelby Cox, I see you on the live stream.
I feel
What's
like
up?
that's like 101 of
I know.
what to take on a camping trip.
Yeah, I need to know these things. I'm not a camper, but I will learn to love it if I can fly.
Camping's not that bad. Are you,
know?
staying in an RV or like a tent?
No, I'm tent camping.
That's
Unless like,
awesome.
and then I'm
I
gonna
love
like
tent
sneak
camping.
my way into the Aviator like camper.
You could do it too. There's plenty of room.
I'm like,
Plenty
let me
of
in. There's
room.
air conditioning in there. It's gonna be hot, but probably
Muggy.
not as hot as
Actually,
Florida
I was
right
about
now.
to say I don't know what's weather. I haven't even seen.
What's the weather right
on
now?
my phone.
And yeah.
I wish I could go.
Trevi says buy a really amazing van, right? Just to go to Oshkosh. That would be
That
funny.
seems reasonable.
It totally seems reasonable.
Why not?
I don't know who's funding these projects, but you know.
You are apparently.
Right? Apparently.
All right, guys. How's everything looking? I feel like I should be like checking in with these people more.
And let everyone know
Let
that
everyone
Eric
know
is
that
on his way.
Eric is on his way, and there is a guest.
And there's a guest.
There
this
is a
time.
guest.
Right. Yeah. For sure. There's a guest. Are
Definitely.
we positive?
Guest said that they're on their way. There will hopefully be a guest. Oh man.
Cross your fingers.
Feel free. So, Kristen here. When did you start flying?
I had my first flight May 24th.
What month is it? May?
Like 2 months ago.
She is
Noob.
we're both noobs.
Yeah, we're totally noobs.
So feel free
Yeah.
to ask questions. She is new here. She's not. This is your second time on the live stream. You were here last Tuesday, right? I can't believe it's already Tuesday again.
I know.
Where did the week go?
Where did it go?
Where?
I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah.
Feel free to ask questions. We will try to answer.
Yep.
If I don't know the answer, she will probably know the answer.
Maybe.
I will still probably not.
They keep you like locked away over here in the warehouse all the time. Like they only let you out sometimes.
They sometimes
everyone
feed
knows.
me.
Right? They
My
maybe
mom,
feed you.
shout outs. Hi, Mom.
Hey.
She brought me food today. And then she put me in timeout and told me to eat my food.
Oh.
It actually felt like a timeout. She
Yeah.
told me I had to take 10 minutes.
Just do it.
And I was there for a solid 6 minutes and like 23 seconds.
Yeah. And they dragged you back to work.
And I got drugged back to work.
It's crazy. Crazy.
Nina's in the background glaring at me.
Do more
Okay.
work.
You should read it. What does it say?
What's it say?
Read
It says,
read the question.
is it unheard of to get bruises on your biceps when ground handling? I'm thinking it's for letting go of the A's too early. It's not unheard of, and I think everybody gets them.
I was about to say I was black and blue.
Me too.
I looked like I got beaten.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
I
finding
actually-
rando bruises everywhere.
Yeah, no,
And on your legs where
totally-
the straps like tight.
I did. I had
Yeah,
I had a
'em
couple.
too.
I had a couple.
Yeah.
And on my
Bruises.
arms are bad.
It's like a rite of passage.
It hurt. It totally is. It definitely is. You're just like, and you're not even ashamed. You're just going around like, check out my bruises.
You're like, look at this,
Look
I
how
got
big
this.
this one is.
So good. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, nice
absolutely.
Icarus shirt.
Yeah. Thanks.
Are we allowed to give those one?
I don't know.
No, we cannot give those.
No.
Never mind.
Yeah. They're special. But it's my favorite shirt.
It's
It's such my favorite
it's
shirt.
so nice. Can I
Yeah.
give some stuff away?
Yeah, give away some neck buffs.
We're going to give away some neck buffs.
Woo woo!
But we're going to wait a couple minutes, and we're going to let some more people drop some comments with some questions.
Ooh, we can
Okay.
give 3.
Tell them
We will
the
give-
only way they can win is by sharing the YouTube link
Okay.
on Facebook.
All right.
You have to first share the YouTube link on Facebook.
Right.
On Facebook,
Go on Facebook,
Share it.
our YouTube link, go follow my channel.
Yeah.
We cannot stream on.
We're not streaming on Facebook
cannot
tonight,
stream
so
on
you've
Facebook
got to
tonight.
share the YouTube link.
Make sure to share the YouTube.
Make sure you like all the pages too. That always
Yes.
helps. You know.
Also, go follow Just Kate's Journey on Instagram
Oh yeah, do that.
and Just Kate on Facebook
Woo
if you
woo.
feel like it.
Do it. Right. Post some more paramotor stuff, yo.
I need to. I'm so bad about it. I like. So this is my issue. I get up in the air
Yeah.
when I actually get the chance to get up in the air.
I can relate.
And I'm so caught up in the fact that I'm actually flying. Like
Yeah.
it's still a moment of like awe
Right.
for me.
Right.
I don't think of grabbing my phone until
No.
after I've landed, and then I'm like, well, crap.
Right. No, you're farther than I am. I still get up there and I kind of look around and I have
Yes.
this moment like the whoop.
Yes.
Right.
I'm like too distracted by everything happening around me.
Absolutely.
Although I totally chased this like really tiny herd of hogs last time. It was like the funnest thing.
Be
I've
kind
ever
to the
done.
animals though.
They were
You
they
know.
were already running.
I know, but be kind.
And I was just wanting to be their
Yeah.
friend.
Steven wants to know, as a male paramotor pilot, what can we do to help encourage and help make women enjoy being successful in the sport?
That's a really good question.
We
Tell
can-
them they are more than capable and they
Oh,
should
yeah.
do it
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Like I remember doing like run-up drills, right? And Drew would be like, "You gotta own that motor, like lean into it, like you don't let it, like stand up." And I'm like, "Yeah!" And you're like being strong, and you know, it's very empowering. You know,
It is.
It is. It's something that we're totally capable of doing, and I know a lot of really good female pilots that are just
they actually
rock
I've
stars.
heard from multiple instructors that female
heard that too.
pilots turn out to be the better
Right.
pilots.
I don't know why that is, but
Probably just because we're better at everything.
we're just good at it.
But
I
that's
don't know. Maybe we're graceful. Who knows? I've heard that part of it. I've heard that side of it, that instead of trying to muscle it so much, that women are a
we
little more graceful.
dance with it.
Hmm. But I don't know if that's true or not.
That's-
It's you know,
According to Ron, it is.
but who knows? We just there just needs to be more of us. I think it
I-
starts
there
with like
really-
you
yeah.
maybe sharing more stuff, me sharing more of our journeys.
I need to get that.
because it's so kick ass. It's so great.
Women should take a tandem with Bob. Hi, Miss Tina. Women should take a tandem with Bob.
Oh yeah,
Definitely makes all the
Yeah.
difference in the world.
yeah.
You know, I actually, like, I have been trying to get more people out here, if not to
Mm-hmm.
at least come watch to take a tandem. Like, it's right
come
there.
see it.
And it's so worth it. And it's
Ugh.
so much fun.
It's so great. And I'm telling people, like, I
love tandems.
I mean, you're younger than me, but like, I have a kid and I have friends that are like their moms, and they're like, "You're doing this? This is so dangerous." And you're like,
Right.
No, you don't understand. Like, it's
as
only
safe as you make it.
right.
As
It's
is
as safe as you
anything.
make it. And them seeing me do this is kind of like sparked
Right.
interest, and like, yep, anybody
Good.
can do this. Like,
Good. I
you
just
know?
convinced my roommate to come for a
Oh,
tandem
heck
too.
yeah,
She's
dude.
super excited.
That's great.
I'm excited for her.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
just stop being scared of it and do it. Like anything,
Which
you know.
I don't know why people are scared of it.
I wouldn't be scared of
I
it.
can
mean,
I can
it's-
see why it would be a little like intimidating
Of
because
course.
it's not really it's not
It's not
common.
natural.
We got to get it to be a common thing.
Yes.
If this I mean it's just it's so much fun. It's such a fun sport. It needs to like
Yeah.
it's up to us. We have to get
We
it
gotta
out
do
there.
it.
We
We're just
gotta
gonna
do
post.
it.
We should be like, we're gonna post like every day something about paramotor because it's cool. We'll just take over. And it'll be like
Every day I'm just
take
gonna
Girls of Aviator.
over. Oh yeah. We
ladies
could totally do it.
Ladiators. Ladiators.
No, that sounds horrible. Nope. Nope. That's funny.
You guys got any better ideas for us?
Oh.
Feel free to throw them out there.
What's up, Uncle Tony?
Okay, who is? I feel like we should get back. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'm so easily distracted.
No, Uncle
my
Tony had
ADHD
Thanksgiving
is
with
so
us
bad.
last year.
Do what?
Uncle Tony had Thanksgiving dinner with us last year at our house. He
Hi,
was one
Uncle
of our
Tony.
students. Uncle Tony is one of our students. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
His name's John, and we gave him a new name for
Uncle
his call
Tony?
sign. Yeah, because he looks like my husband's uncle, Tony.
wow. Where is
Yeah.
John?
Yeah.
John
John is hiding
John
off
is-
camera, giving
I
us
was
directions.
Trying to come up with a really
His hair was
clever-
not good tonight,
His hair,
and he
you
was
know
like
what?
refusing to
He-
go on camera.
he
He's
would
like,
not do it.
I'm having a bad hair
He
day,
didn't feel
and he's
humble
like,
or
I'm absolutely
fabulous,
not doing it.
and he just couldn't do it.
Nope. Nope. He's like, come on it.
He was also
He was
dying in
leaning
the
too far.
background
What was
right
it
now.
last week? He was like, it was leaning too far to the left.
Yes, and he had to like.
Too much. Yeah, he's like, I can't do it this time. So
That's where John is.
yeah.
John's hiding.
So we're gonna give away stuff.
Yes,
but
I
you
keep
have
forgetting.
to share the YouTube link because we're
Facebook.
not streaming on Facebook tonight.
Unfortunately, why aren't we streaming on Facebook tonight? Too laggy.
We just don't have it. We just don't have it.
Bummer.
So YouTube is where it is at tonight.
All
so
right.
that, who are we gonna give it to?
We.
Who are we giving
I
it
don't know.
to?
Do you want to pick? I'm gonna let Nina. All right. I'm gonna do.
God, she
I'm
can't
not-
see. She's squinting.
I'm looking really hard.
She's looking at it. And she's like, wait, I just can't see it. She didn't want to admit it. She can't see
I
it.
really just totally made eyes
Nina?
at her like
She's
Christian.
like, come on, read it. Read it.
I'm just gonna sorry. my
Yeah,
bad.
we need to talk about
Share.
you getting LASIK surgery. It's fine. It's fine.
I feel so attacked right now.
Stop.
This is not okay.
No, it's not okay.
I don't even know who it's going
It's
to
funny.
anymore. But Kristen's gonna share it, and I'm gonna do a drum
It's
roll.
torqued off. That's hilarious. I love it. They are getting one. They have won.
Good job.
Yay!
Send Nina. Where do they send this stuff
Send.
to? Send your name and address of where you would like it shipped to info@aviator. What is it?
What?
What? info@aviatorppg.com.
Holla! And Eric is on his way. We promise.
What time's it?
15 minutes from now, he will be
Okay.
here. We promise
guys
you. You
bear-
only have to deal with us for like 15 minutes more.
Bear with our my high-pitched tones.
You know what? You never told me where you want to fly. We never finished
No, I
answering the
didn't.
question. We got so
Okay.
sidetracked. Where is the place you want to go fly?
Either. Okay.
Okay.
Wherever she said. Where is
Right.
that? I don't know where. I want to go with her.
I don't speak French, so it's horrible. But yeah, it's in France. We're gonna go.
We're gonna go to France.
Uh-huh.
For some reason, as simple as it is, I really just want to go fly on the beach.
Oh heck yeah.
I don't know why. That in the mountains. I think flying through the mountains would be really cool.
Yeah.
My uncle actually lives, my great uncle, who was part of the Air Force back when it was still just like a little mobile home on a grass strip.
Yeah.
It's cool. He's so cool. I love that guy. He has a house up in the mountains in, where is that?
You tell
Woodland
me.
Park.
Okay.
That's where it is. Colorado. Gorgeous.
Ooh,
And
yeah,
I
let's
would
go.
love to go fly there.
Let's go
it's
do it.
so pretty.
Let's do it. We can snowboard too in Colorado. So we could
That
fly,
sounds
snowboard, and
Let's put on a pair of skis with a paramotor on our
again.
back.
Wait. This is also why you need to be watching the dude's videos, the Jean-Baptiste videos, because
Yeah.
he is like flying down a mountain, like slaloming down a mountain in one of his videos. It's sweet with a wing. It's amazing.
I also kind of feel like it could go.
We could
bad
totally do
really
it. We could totally do this. There,
I
we need
want
to be like those girls.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
High five. We are those girls now. We are
Right.
not the Ladiators, though.
No, we're not. That was horrible, horrible suggestion.
Do you have a better idea? Because we need a name.
Right,
If
we need
it's
a
gonna be
name for the
thing-
ladies of Aviator.
All right, guys, feel free to throw out whoever. Tell you what, this is what
Right.
I'm gonna do. Whoever comes up with the best name for Kristen and I to do our adventures,
Yeah.
they are gonna get the next neck buff if they
Neck
share
buff.
it on
Yep,
Facebook.
share it. Make it appropriate.
But
Sheesh.
you have to throw out some really, really, really great
Awesome
names.
ones, right?
They have to be better than mine, apparently.
Right, you know.
Do you have better ideas?
I don't
have any better
I mean,
ideas.
I just show up and do the things, right? Like the shirt says, fly all the things.
Mine doesn't say that.
It doesn't
Mine-
say that.
mine
If
is
you,
the-
oh,
mine
have
is
you
the
not bought
asking-
any shirts? We need to tell them. They need to get some shirts for real because they're
Crazy.
cool. I was just thinking about this. It like popped into my head today. I was like, you know, the fly all the things, and we're like, yeah, we have a shirt for that. I'm like, oh yeah, we do.
It's like there's not for that. There's a shirt for that.
There's a shirt for that. We sell them. You
Why
should
not?
totally buy them.
See,
What?
look at what Clay said.
Lady. Yeah, see, it's just weird. I don't
Ladies.
know.
I feel like it should be.
It's,
Lady,
you know.
Lady,
Alex,
lady. I don't know.
I don't know. He says pair girls.
So
Yeah.
I will not be going to Oshkosh this
No.
year. My fingers are crossed
Boo.
for next year.
Yeah.
Are you going? You're going.
I am going, yeah. Remember, I'm
going.
going to be camping, and I still need help with camping
And
suggestions.
John and Nina, the two behind the
Yeah.
cameras. You guys
Yeah.
can totally flip it and make funny faces.
And Eric, yeah.
No big deal.
We're going to be
Eric's just gonna like
sweating
tile.
and working. That's it.
and
Right.
Ross.
And
Who
Ross.
else is going?
And,
That's it.
Well, and then, like my
And Dom.
husband and Dom, and he's going to be riding around on a one
Ron
wheel.
Turan will be there.
I think Justin Fox is
And
going to be there
Tyson.
too.
Who?
Justin Fox from Fly My PPG.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I'm really bummed I'm gonna be missing out, but I'm
And
looking forward to next
maybe
year.
Mike
The
Connor, I
Aviator
see you.
Angel.
What's up?
Yeah.
Are you coming to
We are
Oshkosh?
angels.
Aviator Angels, yeah. I like the Aviator PPG, like Powerpuff Girls, because I
Oh
love
my gosh,
Powerpuff
I
Girls.
just saw that. What?
Because they fly. They fly around. They're girls that fly around. I kind of love that.
I'm waiting for
Yeah. Isn't what's his name going? Who is Mitchell? Who? It's who? No, Tucker. Everyone's like, is Tucker going?
He's going to Pennsylvania. They're like,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
but
he
he's-
is?
Yeah.
Cool.
Lycamine Air Show. Okay, that's where
The
Tucker's
Martin
going
family
to
will
be
be
if you're
there.
following Tucker. He needs like a, like the Christmas tracker that you can track Santa Claus on.
What?
We should make one of
What?
those for Tucker. Like where people are like, "Where's Tucker?"
Let's go back to where you can track Santa Claus.
Yeah, like
What?
isn't there like a website, like what's it called, like NORAD? They'll track Santa, right? They do other things. They have actual jobs,
That's
but
not
like
a thing. That can't be.
you track Santa Claus like on Christmas. You need a
what?
tracker for like.
That's-
Yes, that's a thing.
No.
Honey, it's so a thing. And then we should make one though for Tucker and be like, "Where's Tucker?" Like fly around.
He just
and-
needs to share his Find My Friends all the time.
right. Oh
That's-
yeah, yeah, all the time, constantly. He'd be
Can
like,
you
"Ah."
imagine how many people would just like be swarming him as he like is trying to
Yeah,
go
he's
to
not gonna
Walmart?
like us if
He
they
just
actually
wants
do
to
that. Like
just-
we should not say that. Yeah, it is. It's NORAD. See, they actually have real jobs there, but
My chair keeps
Yeah.
sliding back and I don't know why. It's
uh-oh.
dry. I'm sorry.
Don't fall down. That's not good.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Okay.
Mhm. That's the
I
thing.
still have not given out another neck. I'm
Nope,
so
you gotta
bad
do
at
it.
this. I cannot stay focused to save my life.
Pick the person
Scatterbrain
that
cat.
that suggested the Aviator PPG Powerpuff Girls,
I
but
don't
we
remember
can't
what
use
was
that. I don't think we could actually
I don't
use
think that-
Powerpuff Girls because that's like copyright. Oops.
That's illegal. Here in the
We don't want to end up paying anyone money.
We gotta come up with a good name.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
you guys, come on.
Come
Give us something to
on,
work
give
with.
me something good. Right.
Let's see.
I'll
Where
be
is
at
it?
Oshkosh for sure. So
I'm so confused. Do we
Not
have
that-
more recent
I have the same following as Tucker.
I feel like
we shared.
I
what?
think you're too far up.
Oh nope! Scroll back down.
shared is all right in this.
Yeah, people
Oh,
keep sharing,
oh,
right?
oh,
because we're
oh.
asking you to keep sharing
Yes.
because we're
People,
not
thank
streaming
you,
on
first
Facebook
off, thank you so much
tonight.
for sharing all the things.
We're not doing it.
I got equipment for him.
So we need you to
All
share
right,
the YouTube
the next
link.
one is going to drumroll please.
Dun, 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 dun.
Kelby Cox.
Duh,
Congratulations. Email your information, please,
Woo.
to info@aviatorppg.com with your name and your. I think we actually.
Info,
Are we
yeah.
sending him? We're sending.
We love Kelby. We just love him.
I haven't met anybody yet.
Oh my gosh, Kelby is so cool. He's
I
going to
need
be
to
hanging out
meet-
at Skyfield with us for like the rest of the year, helping us with classes.
I need to come
Be
hang out at
jealous.
Skyfield
Yes, you do. Yes.
and
Mhm.
help out with things.
Yes.
But what was I say?
The para
the para
Puff
Puff
girls.
Girls.
Oh, I love that. the
That's-
flying veteran. That's cool.
That's the one.
That's it. Give him it.
That's
Give
the
it.
one.
That's
you
it.
You can give it to him. That's perfect.
Dominic's back there giggling. He's like, yes, I love
Para
it.
Puff Girls.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You should go ahead and give it to him.
Give
You
it
can
to
have
him.
the
Done.
honors.
I know. I am putting like Rainbow Dash stickers on my on my helmet, and I want to. Yes, because I love My Little Pony, and I fly, and I feel like we talk about growing your wings all the time. Like you fly, you grow your wings, and it was just awesome. I was like, I love Rainbow Dash, so I'm gonna put stickers on my helmet of
My
Rainbow Dash.
brother and I used to watch My Little Pony
Yeah.
for like downtime,
Yeah.
just chilling.
It's great.
I
show.
will not disclose which brother it is.
It's okay. Is he
I
a
will not
brony?
do that.
Does
What?
they call those bronies? It's a whole thing. Never mind. We won't fall
Okay.
down that. No.
All right.
No, back to paramotor.
All right, guys. Eric will be here soon.
Soon.
Let's catch everybody back up. Whoever has just joined, feel free to throw out
Hello.
anything. We might give you a shout out. Not
Right,
that it's
maybe.
like super important, but you might
It's
get
fine.
a shout out.
It's just the pre-show.
It's just the pre-show.
We haven't even gotten into the really good stuff.
Eric's gonna be here soon. I have no idea what he's gonna talk about. It's usually pretty interesting.
There might be a guest.
There's definitely a guest. It's usually pretty interesting.
There might be a guest.
we apparently Chris and I cannot. It's mostly my fault.
What?
I can't stay focused.
She's not
on
reading.
anything.
No, it's because you need LASIK is the real issue. She can't
Well,
see.
that solve all my
Is
problems.
anyone an eye doctor that can get Kate some LASIK surgery?
Shout out to the eye doctors. Please help.
Please help.
Send, asking
Send
for a
help.
friend,
This
we're
poor
asking
girl is flying blind. Like, I'm so sorry. We'll stop talking about it. We'll stop talking. I'll just keep reading. You keep doing
It's
you.
fine.
It's
I
fine.
haven't run into any birds.
Don't run into. There's less stuff for you to run into up there
Listen,
anyway.
Right?
Right.
That's why it's safer than driving.
It is.
Because
Paramotor
there's less
is
traffic.
way safe.
But on the other side, the traffic runs a lot faster in the sky. So,
okay.
so if you do get hit by anything,
Right, just look out for
Just-
Kate because she can't see. So when you're flying with
Okay.
her,
all right.
yeah.
Okay.
You're like, wait, time
Hang on
out.
a second. Let's
Nope.
take a. All right. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I have a lot of trouble staying focused, apparently. Eric will be here soon. If you guys have any questions you want in six minutes. Wow, we've been talking for a long time already.
It's okay.
Thank you for everyone who's been watching
Yay.
this dysfunctional yet.
Right.
I mean, I feel like it's rather entertaining.
We're just hanging
I've
out.
gotten
It's all good.
I've gotten a few laughs. Anyways, Eric will be here soon to talk about lots of fun things with a special guest.
Yeah.
If there's anything you guys have questions on or any random things, it doesn't even have to be paramotor related, but it totally could be.
It totally could be.
The
Absolutely.
chances of us being able to answer something
I feel
that's
like I know
not
some
paramotor
stuff,
related
but
is more
you know.
high than being able to answer a question that is paramotor related.
True story. Yeah. Yeah.
So feel free to
Absolutely.
throw out some
Squirrel.
questions.
That's right. Eric's like
or
squirrel.
anything.
What wings and motors are we flying, and how do I like them? You want to talk first? Go.
I was really confused because you just said, how do I like them? I was like, he didn't say that. I was like, how do we know what he likes?
He did say that.
I fly. I started on the Parajet Maverick Atom 80. And I just recently upgraded to the Atom 80 Eclipse.
But
which
what do
I
you
love. But I
fly?
fly. I'm getting there. I still fly that. It
I
flies
know,
with
but
me.
you're-
It's a part of me.
All right, I won't.
But
do
the aircraft that I fly, the wing,
that.
I fly the Spider 322, also the Spark 25.
How do you
which-
like the Spark?
I actually really like it.
I haven't
It's kind of
flown
like
it
it's not as spicy. They use that word. I love that word.
Right, I like
It's
that
not
too.
as spicy as the Spider,
Okay.
but I like it a lot. It's really smooth and it's not as I don't want to say as quick. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. It's comfortable for me. I like
It's
it.
comfortable, huh? I get it.
What about
Well,
you?
I'm still a noob, so my wing is a Mojo, and I
The slug of the
love it.
sky.
Oh no, it's
I
totally
actually-
not.
I really like the Mojos.
I love
They're
it.
So they're like a safety blanket.
I went
I
like
love 'em.
totally nerdy and went to like Ozone's website and I was reading all about the Mojo and I was like, oh, you can use it for free flying and all of
really?
these things. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to love this Mojo forever. So I'm not kidding you. I ordered one with custom colors because I am determined to
What size?
fly my Mojo. It's
Medium?
a small.
Oh, small. Nice. Okay.
So I trained on a medium, and then I'm going to switch to the small when I'm more comfortable because I'm still learning. But I ordered custom
excited.
colors
I'm
on a
excited.
Mojo, and that thing is BA. Like I
What colors
love
did you
it.
get?
It looks like superhero, so it's like red.
Wonder Woman?
Yeah,
The
kind
Wonder-
of.
the Wonder
It's
Woman
like
colors?
I feel like
That's
it's
awesome.
kind of like more Captain Marvel, like red, blue, black. Like it's pretty sweet.
Okay.
I'm
Do you have it
excited
yet,
for
or
it.
did
Yeah,
you
I have
order
it. Yeah, I have it. I can show it to you. You can fly it. I'm
She's
pretty
gonna show it
excited. Yeah, I'm gonna
gonna
share.
fly
I'll
it.
share
I'm
my
gonna
wing
fly
with
it.
you. You can fly my wing. It's cool.
I do like the Mojos.
Yeah, but
I
I'm
was-
serious. I'm gonna keep flying it. Why not? Like
You should. I mean, if you like
you
it
know?
and it's comfortable.
and I want to
do it.
build my skill sets because I want to do those cool things that I see on the videos, and you know, I just want to get there and I want to fly safely, and I'm gonna be like doing wing overs on a Mojo. No kidding. It's gonna
Do
happen. Yeah.
Do it.
Right.
All right, guys. What time is it? Eric's gonna be here in 5 minutes.
Ooh,
with
5
his
minutes.
Special guest.
Special guest.
Special guest.
Dun dun dun. It's not us.
We are.
They're kicking us out.
No, we're gonna hide back.
They're
here.
like, get these
We're
chicks
gonna-
out of here. We can?
Oh, we're allowed to.
Yeah, it's already been announced.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
that's-
What
oh,
do you
that's
call
right,
the
he
guest?
shared it.
What
What?
do you call the guest that's coming up?
Hey, you. No.
Hey, you.
Oh, what do what?
Is it like? Is
Is
it
it-
like granddad? Is it pop pop?
I usually just call him Mr. Farewell
Oh,
because I'm not
okay.
old enough to call him Bob yet.
Oh, okay.
But the grandkids call him Pop Pop, so
Pop
it just
Pop.
depends.
Yeah.
It just depends.
Yeah.
Tandem Bob. Is that what you go by?
Daniel.
Tandem
Right.
Bob
Right.
is the special guest for tonight.
Woo!
and you never know what he's gonna talk
Nope,
about.
you don't.
You really don't.
I like listening. He's always got great stories, good anecdotes.
Incredibly entertaining.
Yeah.
He is always super
Totally.
entertaining.
Yeah. So we're almost
Bob
done.
is a special guest.
Yeah, Bob's
Did
coming.
someone else spoil it?
Bob's coming. Question for the crowd: does anyone else have sore shoulders, or is that just because I'm old?
No,
Sore shoulders
I,
from flying. It is a thing, I think. You know.
Guys, I made the. Do what?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say to make you feel
Squirrel.
better. I slept on a couch and I have sore shoulders, so don't feel so guilty about
Unrelated
it.
paramotor
All right,
injury.
guys.
Yeah.
It is 3 minutes till.
3 minutes.
We are probably gonna go and round this up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
wait, we're gonna let Eric give. Did we already give away all three?
I think
we
we
didn't
gave
give
away
away to the Parapuff guy.
We didn't give it to him.
We did not
He's
give
getting
to.
one though. He was the
We'll
third one,
We'll
right?
find you later.
Yeah,
You'll get one.
The Parapuff guy.
Parapuff,
The Parapuff guy
We don't
won.
remember your name. We are terribly sorry,
It's
but you
so-
are getting yourself a neck buff, sir.
Yes.
Thank you for the brilliant.
Yeah.
The gold. It is gold.
It's
That is
gold.
that is gold.
We should like
Hashtag
sign it.
Parapuff.
Yeah.
Parapuff girls.
I'd be like, thanks for
I
that.
can't even say it.
The Parapuff girls.
Parapuff proud.
Right.
It's gonna be perfect.
It's gonna be wow.
All right.
a mess.
Anyways, send your information.
Yeah.
Parapuff.
And
dude or
please,
dudette.
you guys remember to share the YouTube link
Yes.
on Facebook because we're not streaming on Facebook tonight. It's just not a thing. So we've got to come over to YouTube. Come hang out
Also,
with us.
YouTube is way better.
Way cool.
But share
cool.
the YouTube link on
Yeah.
Facebook. And stick around. Eric's going to be here shortly. Oh, back to
Oh.
Parapuff Guy. Send your information to info@aviatorppg.com. Send your address, your name, whatever you need to send. Provide your phone number,
Do it.
your credit card information.
Do all the
I'm
things.
just
Yeah,
kidding.
no, don't.
I'm just totally. I'm
Don't
kidding.
do it.
I'm kidding. You want it. It's all yours. Don't worry about it. But send it to that, and we will get you set up and ready to go, and we will get that sent out to
Heck
you.
yeah.
Actually, I say we. I will. I
Yeah.
will I'm gonna write you.
She's
a
gonna
letter.
actually ship it to you.
I will.
That's
actually
what she does.
it is. It's my thing. All right.
Yeah.
I think that's
That's
everything.
it.
Did
Yeah,
we
we're
cover
gonna need to
everything?
plan some adventures for
We're
our
gonna
Powerpuff
the Powerpuff girls.
the Parapuff.
Dang it.
This is why it's so perfect because we're gonna
work
be
on getting it down. We have to get it down first. I just have to learn how to say it,
Yeah.
and then I have to remember how to remember it. All right, guys.
All right.
We are gonna close this out. Thank you for watching. Eric will be here
Thank you.
shortly. Stick around.
Yeah.
How long, John?
Like soon.
He'll be here in 5 minutes.
Like 5
He will
minutes.
be here.
Stretch. Go get a drink.
He will be here, hopefully.
Like 2-3 minutes.
Get ready.
2 or 3 minutes, guys. Stick around. It was nice talking to you.
Awesome.
Hello and welcome to the Ask Aviator podcast, episode number 19. Next episode will be at Oshkosh, Wisconsin for AirVenture at EAA. Super excited. It's going to be a very unique episode, but today's episode is going to be probably the fan favorite, if only because of the fact that it's very clear. It's very, very clear. It's very obvious to the entire world that I am not the favorite person, the favorite farewell, not the favorite pilot, not the favorite instructor, No, that's all my dad. And he'll be with us tonight. So really quickly, I want to say hello to a bunch of folks. Michael Moore, great talking to you yesterday. Enjoyed the conversation. Brent Lofton, good to see you. Jim Sierra, 120, welcome back once again. Diane Carroll, hello and welcome. Jeannot Gauthier, good to see you as well. Jim, yes, not Scotch and water. This is Chardonnay. It's a nice, easy evening tonight. We're not going to fly, so I'm having a beverage, but nothing too crazy. Andre Gamillion, great to see you as well. Saeed, always a pleasure. Ripman Ryden, great to have you back on the live stream. Next week, we may or may not have a live stream. We want to talk to you guys about it and get a vote in the chat. Flying Veteran, really, honestly, man, great to have you here live and clear with us. I've got chairs being moved around behind me. The whole world is changing. It's rotating at about 20,000 miles an hour. Josh Perry, great to have you. Twisted Ocean, welcome and hello. Guys, it's going to be a great, great broadcast tonight. I get to share a lot of my favorite adventures, a lot of the things that have inspired me and changed who I am and inspired the person I am today with you all. Some good stories, potentially some really deep ones you never know with my dad. So Cody Esterline, good to see you. Tyler Cragen, a pleasure. John Wallace, we are going to live stream from Area 51, absolutely. Rock on Montana, good to see you and welcome. Guys, it's always great to have, as Saeed said, the hashtag usual suspects online here. It is truly a pleasure to see folks who tune in each and every week. I know it's a weird time of day. It's simply because we don't want to stay here until 11 o'clock at night. We do this at work. My incredible staff donates their time, and I have to say a huge shout out to the Paramotor Rockettes. That's not what they want to be called, but I'm calling them that for doing the pre-show. If you guys are listening to this as a podcast later, check out the live stream on YouTube for a pre-show special. It's worth your investment of time, I assure you. Brent Lofton, good to see you as well. And Bob Garber, Craig Couch. Guys, great, great show tonight ahead of us. There's a lot of folks going on. Brent asked if that's a larger gas tank for the Maverick. No, this is actually an Eclipse behind me. This one has the EFI all installed, and this is a 10-liter tank because you don't need much more with the EFI. So there you go. Pyramid of Crazy says he's headed for foot launch training right now. Excellent, sir. Well done, sir. Glad to have it indeed. He's going to FlyMy. He's going up to Michigan. Oh, fantastic. I know I saw Mike Cotter in the chat earlier. Mike, always good to see you. The FlyMy guys are fantastic. You're going to have an incredible experience. Justin Fox leads that group in such a powerful way. And we've had Drew and Kristen here from Skyfield's Flightworks for the last week, really 2 weeks off and on, and it's been great to have them as well. Skip Noel, great to have you. September 21st class in the house. Remind me, John, is the September 21st class our B2 pilot class? October, dang it. So my buddy Hammer's coming down with his buddy. They're both B2 pilots. He was the squadron and base commander for the B2 squadron. Really great folks. So yeah. All right, Ripman Riding wants to fly your trike, Paramotor Crazy. Dad, we'll talk a bit about trikes tonight, and it'll be very good. Jim says, whatever you do for future live streams, please make it known. I schedule my life around your live streams. Well, very thankful to have you, my friend. DM Simpson, welcome as well. Sandor, great to have you. I'm sure Jeff Stang is watching. I'm sure that Justin's watching. Justin Daly, we've got quite the crew. I apologize for the blurry video tonight, guys. Are we plugged in through We're plugged in through a Cat5 cable to a Google Home system that should be working really well. We are supposed to have 25 upload, and right now we're showing 3 meg uploads. So normally we push 6,000 to each service, and in the joy of hoping that it will actually work out well video-wise. But that's why we're going to talk some about Oshkosh plans later, because we want to bring the best podcast ever from Oshkosh, and John has some ideas. I'm a little hesitant because I really want to be able to do this live, but the reality is with bad internet, we can only do so much. So we're going to do our very best to bring you guys a great show, and I'd like to have your feedback later on. All right. We're 4 minutes in. I've not stopped talking yet. I want to introduce my father, who is legitimately, he is my hero. He's the man that I strive to be like. He's a man that has shared everything with me in my life from the moment I was born until today. But 5 years ago, I got to share something from me with him. I got to share my adoration of flight with him, my belief in the passion and joy of aviation that I carried for my entire childhood that he wasn't a part of. And we'll talk some about that story. We've dived into it briefly before, but without further ado, Dad, will you come on the stream? Yeah. Yeah.
Fist bump.
Fist bump. He's so grown up now.
Now, which do I look at?
All right,
the blue screen
look at me.
or-
Look at me.
oh,
I'll
no.
read that.
Okay.
I'll read that. I'll look distracted and ADD like normal.
Okay.
And I'll try to keep up with everybody. Cool. And then we will have conversations.
Okay. Conversation.
Conversation.
Good evening, everyone.
Indeed.
It's my turn to talk.
I'm be quiet now.
He gets to breathe. And I have accused my son of having taken particular voice lessons and speech lessons from a friend of ours named Ray Perry.
Hi, Ray.
From Alabama, and or the backside of nowhere. And she speaks at 90 miles an hour with gusts to 120. And Eric is just about there.
I think she's almost Cat 4 hurricane at this point. In my memory,
Probably,
she's
yeah.
a Cat 4 hurricane.
At any rate, you're getting there. I want you to know it's going to be fun to slow you down some.
What's fun about my dad is he thinks he talks slower than me.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit. So you're 72 years old.
72.
72 years old. 40 years ago.
40.
You married into an aviation family.
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
And what was your experience? So to give some background, my grandfather was a World War II fighter pilot and bomber pilot on my mom's side. He birthed my mother and then my uncle. He didn't actually do the birthing process.
No, he did have a critical part in the
He had an enjoyable
exchange.
part. An enjoyable part
Yes,
in the
yes,
exchange.
that's
Yeah. It was he got the fun out of it. She got the brutality.
Yes.
So my uncle became a pilot. My grandmother became a pilot. My mother became a pilot. My cousins all became pilots, with the exception of my cousin Audra. Everyone in the family flew, except for you.
Right.
Why was that?
Well, when I first met the family, I was here just a few weeks, and I asked my future brother-in-law if he would be interested in teaching me to fly. And I think we had a 120 or
140.
140.
He had a Cessna 140, yeah.
A Cessna 140. And he said, sure, he'd be glad to. So it was my first time to get inside a small airplane like that, and we took off the sod strip that we lived
It wasn't
nearby.
sad, it was sod.
Sod strip nearby. And as we flew, I guess we were about maybe 1,000 feet. We had done a few turns, and he said, okay, the airplane's yours. And I said, what does that mean? And he said, the airplane's yours. Land it. And
No
I said,
pressure.
You've got to be kidding. And a few other expletives deleted. And when upon landing, I took my future brother-in-law and said, if we're going to be good in-laws, I'm going to find a different teacher, because right now I want to kill you. And at that point, I stepped back, and I really had no other passion or interest in learning to fly. To me, it was, it was interesting. Everyone else in the family flew, but I could sit in the right seat and have all the fun without having all the worry about being a pilot.
The pressure, right.
Then later on in life, I recognized that I have a real challenge understanding people who talk real fast, particularly air traffic controllers.
And they do talk
incredibly
really fast. Yeah.
And so we were, I think, coming back from the Bahamas on a particular trip, and I had the earphones on in the right seat, and we were coming into Miami International, and there was an air traffic controller that was talking to an airplane, and he was just rattling off what runway to land and all these vectors and what radio frequency he was to use, and he was just going blah, 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 blah. And over the intercom came this voice that said, hello, Miami, do you hear how fast I am speaking? That is how fast I think. And you could hear this air traffic cracking up, and all the ones behind him, and he went, Roger that. Turn heading, and I thought, there's hope for me. If I could just learn to speak with a Spanish accent and speak slowly, I might learn to do this. But he got in safely into Miami. So did we.
So Alex, our maintenance professional here, his superpower is Spanglish.
Yes, Spanglish.
That's what you need your superpower to be in order to fly. But that all changed. I've been flying fixed-wing aircraft since I was, I think my first actual flying lesson was in Buckeye, Arizona, in a Quicksilver MX-2, which you somehow allowed me to do with my own money when I was 13. I'll never forget the flight. We took off, did some touch and goes, and then we flew out over this mountain that was just north of I-20, I think it is.
One of them.
And,
Flying J was nearby.
Flying J was nearby, so was Cracker Barrel, I'm sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
And doing the touch and goes was cool. I mean, you're full open air. The motor's behind you. You felt more like a paramotor than anything else. And then we flew over this mountain, and I'll never forget flying below the level of the saguaro cactus. And as we climbed the mountain, we passed over an entrance to an old mine. And it was boarded up just like you'd see in a Roadrunner. Yeah, like a Roadrunner comic. Like it was one of those things. And getting to see that from that angle, that the only way you'd see it otherwise is climbing 1,000 feet vertical up this mountain, which I was homeschool, ADD, asthmatic kiddo who's never going to climb 1,000-foot mountain unless he has to, unless he's being chased, preferably by a bear, and I'm trying to outrun someone. So flew over this mine and just getting to see that hint of history, which you had inspired such a passion for history, from Civil War history to everything else that we'd done. So to give some background to people, when I was born, my parents had made the decision to homeschool their children. So it was illegal at the time. We had to hide from the truant officer for certain hours of the day. But they made the decision to homeschool, and they never followed a set curriculum. You guys decided that you were going to do passion-led learning, which is a bizarre topic in itself. We can go for hours talking about it, as you and Mom have for 40 years, 30 years. But what was really interesting is that you allowed us to see things that intrigued us. And I remember reading G.A. Henty books and reading,
Hardy Boys. And all
Hardy
of them.
Boys. Oh, Tom Swift, Rick Brant, all the great mysteries. What was the book about the Civil War scout who's 13 years old?
I can see the color.
I can see the cover. Yeah, I can too.
I can't remember, Confederate something.
He's a young Confederate scout who was tasked with seeking out
try to find his brothers.
Right.
And he wound up fighting with Mosby's Rangers.
Mosby's
Rangers.
Based
on a true story.
Right.
Yep.
So I read that book 11 times before I was 13 years old.
Right. Well, that was because we were an active Civil War or War Between the States reenactment family.
Is the South going to rise again? Is that where we're going with this conversation?
No, we're not going to go there. Particularly for my Yankee friends, I'm thinking of Dennis and some others up in Maine, and David up in Maine. Yes, and
we've got some good Yankees in the bunch now.
I
love it.
They're all part of the family now. But no, that was a part of our desire was to, and of course, a lot of what we started doing in home education was in theory. It wasn't proven.
No, it wasn't.
And it wasn't altogether illegal. It just wasn't mainstream, nor was it. The state had never come out with an edict or any legislation that permitted it. You could do it, but you either had to do it through a permission with your local superintendent or you did it underground. And we became very vocal and very public about what we were doing. We were not hiding, but we felt it was our constitutional right in order to be able to homeschool our kids, and we did. And the theory that we had that if you could use real books and real life experiences and find good mentors, you could create some of the most dynamic curriculum imaginable. And now the evidence has been overwhelming. We have had hundreds of families that have called us and wrote to us and told us just how it has impacted their family. And for us, we had just a great adventure. We lived on the road 6 months of the year for 18 years. And we got to travel from coast to coast and had a great time doing it.
So, first off, Skip Noel says that you mean the War of Northern Aggression?
Yes. We call it the late, great unpleasantness. Yes.
The one thing I love from so dad and mom, they started a book business selling books to homeschoolers, trying to inspire families to spend time together, to follow their passions and learn as much as possible. And this all started, this whole conversation started about the realization that I had developed an intense passion for history, which I still hold dear. I still adore history, not just history, but I love alternate history. Books like Guns for the South, where a time traveler brings AK-47s to Robert E. Lee. It's intriguing. What could have happened, right? Yeah. So I love the idea of trying to better understand where we've been so that history doesn't repeat itself. I remember being at Auschwitz 2 years ago, and with a newly seated president and a whole new set of issues and rules and regulations, and looking at the ticket stubs that Jews bought, that they paid for to escape their oppression, to go and die. Not knowing that they were going to go and die, thinking they were going to a better life. It was just knowing history and researching more history and looking into where we have been and where we are going, and trying to grasp the mentality of a human being who would try to protect his family only to put them in danger. And it's something that intoxicates me, that really empowers me. It's because of you. It's because of your fascination with history, and your fascination with history brought you to the point where we were reenactors. Yep. And then beyond that, you started teaching living history presentations. Right. And tying back into the concept of the War of Northern Aggression. I love, my dad used to have a presentation he'd do called Gettysburg the Second Day. Right. Where he would tell the story from a Southern soldier's side of marching up Little Round Top to annihilation. And the conversation always happens where people, and we tell it from a first-person perspective, this idea of this being a truth, of people saying, well, why would you fight that war? And as a 12-pound mountain howitzer is being fired down with doubles canister of shrapnel being fired at you, would you take that double canister for someone to have a slave? For the 6%, the 6% of America that had slaves. But it was your passion. This sounds like, guys, carry along with me here. This is not me saying the North was right or the South was right. This is me saying that my father's passion for expressing how unbelievable it would be for Joe Southern American, to go and take 16 ounces of lead to his chest that was fired by 1.5 pounds of black powder, literally ripping apart every gut he has, for the rights of one man or 6 men out of 100 to have the right to have a slave. No, it was about states' rights. And your passion for that convinced me so wholeheartedly. And I carry the same passion for the belief that flight changes us for the better, that it forces us to live beyond our fears. I had a really interesting conversation I shared in the intro class last week with a therapist recently who said that the act of learning to fly for me was self-abuse. Because of the amount of pain with my previous accidents and the pressure on my spine with getting off the ground 1 out of every 6 flights or inflations trying to get off the ground. It was self-abuse, but it was so empowering. It was so good that I couldn't not do it. And I couldn't let it beat me. I had to follow through because of the passion you taught me. So we could talk about the Civil War. We could talk about homeschooling. We could talk about all these other things. But these people are here to talk about flying.
Yeah, no. But let me just cap that by saying there's a lot of dads out here that are passionate about flying. And you've got children that are coming up, and it's your responsibility to share your joy and your passion with your kids and with your relatives. There's just no telling how many of your brother-in-laws would love to do what you do, or sister-in-laws, your mom and dad. I mean, it's just amazing how this can change their life too. So don't hold back. It's just something that you can do.
Well, and more than that, it's not just the act of flying. And we've had this conversation before many times. It's the fact that when you fly, it fills your cup. Now, if we think of your heart, your soul, your mind, you think of who we're meant to be, we're constantly being drained by everyone around us, right? As we pour ourselves into the people we love. We're constantly being drained, whether it's work, people we love, projects. There's never-ending drain on our soul. But flying fills your cup.
Mm-hmm.
Flying allows you to go back into it. And I remember, and I want to tell the whole story from beginning to end, but I remember about 4.5 years ago, what your staff said to you.
Yeah. I have a medical supply business that I still run. At that point, we had 5 employees, and I would come into the office, and if I hadn't flown, they would not let me go to my desk. They told me I had to go back out and find somewhere I could fly. Because if I didn't have my altitude adjustment, I became mean. And so I took them at their say-so, and I said, fine. And I went out and found a place to fly.
And I was really hesitant to share it at first because as you're my hero, you're the guy I've tried to emulate my entire life. I was really hesitant to say anything negative about who you were as I was a child. But over the last year or so in the intro classes, when we're getting to know students and you introduce yourself, I'll take a moment to share that you were always so short-tempered. You were always so frustrated. And that since you become a pilot 5 years ago, almost 6.
Almost.
There was something that was truly... It changed who you were. Your patience went through the roof. I mean, instead of being in a position where you felt the need to share something instantaneously, where it would be hurtful to other people around you or hurtful to yourself if you had to hold it in, which is how I've often felt in my life, you had depth of patience. That was incredible, and it's been another inspiration for me to have to follow in your footsteps. Thanks for that.
It's okay.
It would have been so much easier just to be able to be angry all the time.
Just be patient. I mean, just... Good luck with that.
Really quick to everyone listening and to everyone watching, I apologize for my coughing. I have severe allergies. Like, they're insanely, insanely bad, and I'm trying really hard not to cough. But the last time I tried not to cough was about 5 live streams ago, and I ended up coughing so hard I threw up into a bucket. I recently cleaned that bucket, and so summarily I'm trying to... Yeah, so I apologize to everybody for my cough. But all right, so let's tell a story. You tell a story.
Okay.
Of when you decided you were going to learn to fly.
Okay, I had just had a knee replaced.
That's not a big deal, right? That's like a 3-day,
No,
in and out.
It was multi-week recovery. I was in week 7, and you invited me out to go kiting, and I thought it's the first time in 35, 40 years that I was pain-free. And I said, okay, I'll go out and try that. And so you brought this wing. I can't even remember what size it was, but I remember being able to inflate it if I could run forward, and I could keep it inflated if I ran forward and ran back, but I couldn't run laterally. My legs just wouldn't let me work that way.
Yeah, you couldn't move side to side.
Couldn't move from side to side.
Which is ironic for a basketball player.
Well, but again, it was this leg that was saying, you're not healed yet. And so no pain, but no flexibility either. So after about 2 or 3 days of trying to kite, I turned to you and said, I'm sorry, son. I can't do this. This is not for me.
It was a Dudek Zigzag 2 by Team Meter, by the way.
Yeah, oh, thank you. A Dudek Zigzag 2. Thank you. That sounds like something you would roll, zigzag.
Oh, my goodness. Anyway. My father, by the way, in the 60s had hair that was beyond his butt crack. So
no.
I just want to point this out.
Never that long. But I did go to school near Berkeley, California, by the way. Anyway, it's another story. Where were we? I got off on the zigzag.
You got sidetracked on some zigzags.
So I said, no, I could not do this moving side to side. So I said, I can't do this. Thanks for letting me try. And you said, why don't you try the trike, Dad?
Right.
And I said, okay, what's that got to do with it? And so I got to move in a trike backward, and I could start steering from right to left, as well as go forward by moving the throttle. And after about 2 days of doing that, I got to take my first flight. And I remember, and I know all of the powered paragliders that are out there, you know that feeling of your first flight. There is nothing like it, ever. When your feet leave the ground. In this case, my feet were on some wheel turning devices, and the wheels left the ground, and I inhaled. Like, and And it was 5 minutes before I could exhale. It was like it kept going higher and higher, and I just missed this pine tree. And you directed me
That
out
light
over
post.
this lake, and I said, "This is unbelievable." And that was the first flight. When I landed, I make no apology, I was crying like a baby. It was just so overwhelmingly joyous to experience this. And then we had several more flights, and on the 5th flight, you said, "Dad, go up to 500 feet, go out about a mile from here, and your brother James and I, we're going to fly out and we'll meet you out there." So I got up to 500 feet, and I was circling around a mall, and I watched you two take off, and you never got more than 4 feet off the ground. And you zigzagged among these trees, and you crossed the highway, and you came into this beautiful ranch land that I hadn't flown in yet.
That became your home for the next 5 years.
Eventually. But you flew, and you came upon this lake, and you were zigzagging among these trees. I'm zigzagging again. And I came around these, and I spilled the water. And as I'm zigzagging around these trees, I said to myself, they're way down there, and I'm way up here. They're having all the fun, and I'm waiting up. I said, I can do that too. So I flew down, and as you flew away from this one body of water, a whole group of cattle egrets came up and formed a V and started flying up in front of me because they saw me coming. And I came in behind them, and at that moment, I got it. I understood absolutely why you were crazy about this sport. And from that moment on, I couldn't wait to get into the air, and I've been blessed to be able to fly almost every flyable day now for 5.5 years.
And the beautiful thing for me, now, many people know my brother, your son, died last year in June in a car accident. You and I got to fly together a few days ago.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw you, I turned my video camera on.
Oh, no kidding. You got it on camera.
And I watched it again today. Because as many memories as I have of you, I've been working on my book, and I was telling a story to my publisher about our trip to Colorado and hiking with the Ewings to go through those beautiful, do you remember the yellow leaf trees? Mm-hmm. We hiked, it felt like 20 miles. It was probably 2. It was Colorado, and I was 14 or whatever. But I remember the journey, and I remember your face when we caught fish and when you taught me how to gut the fish. And when you, I remember every piece of it. But if you died tomorrow, the way I'd remember you is your face last week when I pulled up beside you.
And bumped wings.
Because there's no greater glee.
Unbelievable.
There's no greater moment of absolute joy that I've ever seen in you.
Yeah, it's just infectious. You can't not smile. And I get the privilege now of taking other people up in a tandem, and I get to hear through the helmet their giddiness as they take off with me.
Yeah.
And so now I'm doubling up the joy by being able to use a tandem flight.
Which you earned. And that's one thing I want to encourage people on. Is I would like to teach people how to tandem. Mm-hmm. I'd love to. And I was actually going to talk about this before. One of the things that I think is why so much changed for you after you learned to fly was you got 2 flights. And we were partnered with another instructor who came, and I paid him a fairly large amount of money to utilize his equipment and to utilize his skills. And for you to have that slot, because it was really important to me, because I wanted to make sure you had the best experience possible. Because this was early on in my timeline. This is 6 months after I started training, maybe 7, and I wanted you to have the best experience possible. The same way that Nell is going to learn to fly with our instructor staff, not just with me.
Right.
Because it's really important to me that she has the best experience possible. And then after your first 2 flights, it was around a month until your 3rd.
Yeah. We went off, my wife and I disappear. We have a special place called a little cottage on an island in the Gulf of Mexico, and we love just the 2 of us to get away. And while there, there was no flying. So when I came back after being gone a month and I only had a few flights before I left, I had numerous successful practice launches.
We coined this phrase, and I'm going to tell the full story. Full story. We coined this phrase because my father's. I've learned a lot from him, and he's a lot like me. And in anything else in my life, I would have given up after a month. Because I'd always been good at flying airplanes, I'd always been a natural pilot, I felt like it was going to beat me, and I wouldn't let it. After about your 100th inflation and taxing.
Successful practice launch.
Yes, where Dad turned to me and said, "This is not for me." And I looked at him and said, "I've seen your face, and I watched your tears. I've seen the joy you have when you fly. This isn't a failed launch. This is a successful practice launch."
Right.
And we've used that line in our business for the last 6 years, 5.5 years.
And we still have successful practice launches.
I had 3 of them in a row in April.
I mean, it just
Dag
happens.
nabbit.
It happens.
You know, and that's, I think it's a really powerful tool, though. It's a powerful tool for us to look at the fact that every failure moves us forward.
That's right.
And that's something you taught me from a really early age, to the point where my first book that I was working on was a book that I was going to title Failing Forward, which I failed at finishing writing.
Yeah, well, so we move forward from that. Okay.
So it's still a learning process, but without question, it has enabled you to be the husband, father, and grandfather that you were meant to be. Watching the way you interact with me, with our mother, my mother, your wife, and with my siblings, with my children and my nieces and nephews, you are so much more at peace. And I see the same peace in me when I get to fly. And it's a tough thing. Like we you know, as adult men, we're taught that we're meant to be providers. Protectors. We're meant to be strong. We're meant to be capable. We're meant to be in control. But the reality is that each of us has a sub-layer, a layer below what we're meant to be, that has to be fed, that has to be inspired, and there's something within us that needs to be filled. And it can't be filled by anyone but us. It can't be filled by our spouse. It can't be filled by our children. It can't be filled by our work. We have to find something that creates an adventure for us. And when I was 16 years old, you found a book.
Yep. Wild at Heart by John Eldridge.
That put it in words.
Right.
It put in words for us that it was so imperative to have an adventure, to be inspired,
Right.
and to do something that scared us. And you did something that I haven't done yet. You shared that with your children. Mine are 4, 6, and almost 8, and I haven't shown them yet what it means to go do something you're scared of, to go do something that you're not sure you'll be able to accomplish. But you did it in spades. You constantly showed us this concept that there was an empowerment behind overcoming your fear. This is a genuine question from your son who's never asked this question. What made you believe that was the right thing? And how did you overcome your fear? Because when I was 16 years old, you let me get in an airplane that went 60 miles an hour and fly 1,100 miles on something planned on a legal pad. How did you accept that risk and know that it was the right thing? Because that is still an intoxicatingly terrifying thing for me, thinking about my child 8 years from now when you get in an airplane.
Get used to it. Maybe you'll get blessed to have a child. One of your sons will be just exactly like you, and revenge will be sweet. To answer your question, I like to use the phrase I faked it till I made it. I sensed that this was where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do, and I wasn't sure it was going to work.
Will you share a little bit about what the top of the book is then?
Yeah.
Share that. Let's start with what the books.
The book is called Wild at Heart by John Eldridge. And not only did I read it to my children and have my children read it, but I've had literally sold thousands of copies to many dads, and their lives have been changed for the good as well. It's a great concept. It says that men, or boys for that matter, are hardwired from birth. God has created us to be unique, and it's not a mistake. That you could take a boy and you could put him out in the backyard, and if he picks up a stick, it becomes a gun, sword, some sort of a weapon. If you do the same thing with a young lady, a little girl, it becomes a doll, she becomes a nurturer, and so there's a difference.
It depends on the girl. My daughter might make it a doll, she might make it a machine gun. It really depends. It could be a lightsaber tomorrow.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. At any rate, and the book elaborates on how we as men need adventure. We need a damsel in distress that we can rescue, and she is not to be the adventure. Man, I wish I had heard that when I was in college.
That's actually really critical.
Yeah.
I love this because, guys, this is not the standard Ask Aviator podcast, because I brought Dad on because I want to get his wisdom. What he just said was that they need a damsel in distress to rescue,
right?
But that she is not meant to be the adventure.
That's right.
I'm going to rephrase that slightly.
You get to invite her into the adventure.
You can invite her in the adventure. She can't be the adventure.
That's right.
And that's a really, for me, particularly as someone who is a fixer, who sees a problem, addresses it, tries to develop it, it's very easy, and it was very easy for me in my early relationships through my life to find someone who needed my help, who's incredibly intoxicatingly interesting to me. They're beautiful, vibrant, blah, 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 and they had a challenge. And I made them my adventure. I made helping them grow through their challenges my adventure. And I didn't grasp it until much later in my life, how imperative it was to let them experience their own adventure or to bring them alongside mine. So that's one really core fundamental thing that I'm still learning.
Yep. It's important. And it's just, it creates a balance within a man to have that adventure, to be striving to achieve something. Goal setting to me was something that was very foreign, and I was shamed into doing it. For the first time in my early 30s, I went to a real estate seminar, and this man challenged me to set a real high financial goal. And I thought, this is hokey. I'm not going to do that. And my wife and our business partner, who is an attorney, said, what do you have to lose? You just paid this man $750 for a weekend. Well, let's go ahead and set that. But his directions was you had to set a large goal, and you had to write it down on a piece of paper, and you had to glue it to your bathroom mirror. And I said, okay, I'll show this guy. So I made a real large goal, and I stuck it on the bathroom mirror and forgot that it was there. And looked at that every morning, and when I was shaving and it was get yellow, and I said, I'm 6 months into this, I'm no closer to the goal than I was 6 months before. But miraculously, 6 months later, as we were leaving this one-bedroom studio apartment and moving into our house that we had finally refurbished, the last thing we found was this on the mirror, was this goal. Now, we had added some things to that. One of them was, I wanted to go to Israel, I thought. So I wrote down, I want to go to Israel. I'll show him. I got this big money and I want to go to Israel. And we didn't do that. So I pulled this off, and I took my wife. We sat down and I said, we need to take an accounting. And we looked at the financial side, and we did not. And what it was is it said, we want to triple our income from last year. And it was a dollar amount. And when we sat down and did the analysis, we did not do triple, but we had actually gone 5 times the year before in the last 6 months. And we didn't go to Israel because we were too busy selling real estate, and we were doing really well with it. So we had to turn down a trip to Israel, a free trip, and one other trip that could have been life-changing. At the astronaut James Irwin, who walked on the moon,
Apollo 15,
invited us to go to Mount Ararat and look for Noah's Ark with him.
Where he got struck by lightning.
Turned it down. And we turned it down because we were so busy closing real estate contracts. So the power of writing down a goal, setting it up there, having a challenge within you that makes you want to get up in the morning, that's all part of maturing. And I feel now that I have matured, I've aged, and now my goals are, what size wing will I be flying next year? Started with a 28, went down to a 26, then a 25. I'm now at a Roadster 324, and they are just getting more and more fun every day.
So it's really interesting to me, your experience, and I've heard the story. For those of you who are listening who don't know my backstory, 2 weeks before my 18th birthday, I had a catastrophic accident in an airplane on the ground, and it resulted in me losing 80% of my memory. And so a lot of what I see as my childhood is not there. It's just I see fog, right? I remember you having goals on your mirror that you'd have enough money to pay to keep the house. I remember bringing cash to you as like $1.40, and I was like, "Here, let me help." But those were the only goals I saw. I didn't see the huge benefit because that was before my time, literally. And so I never developed this concept of goals. I remember when I was 17 or so years old, I had a guy named Casper Patowski. I was at a conference, maybe it was 18. It was a conference in Vegas, and no, we were in Nashville. We were in Nashville, Tennessee at the Opryland Hotel. And Casper took a $100 bill out of my wallet, which is pretty much my last $100. And he wrote, "I will earn $1 million in a year," and signed his name on his, signed his name on mine. We traded. I went in my wallet. 6 months later, I pulled it out. I had to spend my last $100 because I couldn't afford gasoline, right? My income was in such huge waves through that period of time. And my goal setting became different. It wasn't about hitting a certain number. It wasn't about hitting a certain result. It was about changing a certain number of people's lives, whether it was my own or someone else's. I had dear, dear friends, Carl Miller and his wife, who learned to fly here, who had a Piper Cub. I learned to fly a Piper Cub. He worked for Piper in marketing. His company worked for them. And he brought me a challenge coin with the Piper Cub on it. I put it on my desk, and every day I'd sit down and stare at this freaking Piper Cub. And at the time when Aviator was in its infancy, you bought tires for my wife's car because we couldn't afford them. They were threadbare. Our family is by no means affluent. I always said that there was two things we did. One was that we're really good at making money and really good at losing it and really good at serving rich people.
Yeah.
We never really, the Farewell family never had money.
We had enough.
You had enough.
Yeah, we had enough.
7 months a year.
Yeah.
And you were desperate the other 5. But the reality was that we were in a desperate position to the point where food stamps saved our business. And you helped save my family for a $200 set of tires. And I'm looking at this coin and I'm saying, I need a Piper Cub. It's what I learned to fly in. I want to help other people experience this joy. I want to help other people have this same experience. And all of a sudden we sell our house for almost 100% more than we paid for it. And somebody calls me. I'm at a festival in Lake Wales. We're at Orange Blossom Review. I get a call from my buddy Nicholas Kane. He's like, "Hey, Eric." I'm like, "What's up, little Nick?" He's like, "I have a Cub for you." And it was almost exactly the money we had left over from our house when we bought our new one. I was like, well, guess I'm buying a Cub.
Yep.
So this idea of positive, I don't even have the right word for it. It's like choosing to believe that something's possible. Choosing to believe, like for me flying paramotors, it was very much this concept of this hurts. I'm terrible at it. I have so many videos where I started my launch, right? I started my launch sequence right where our red shop is now. I ended up out in the triangle where they're launching now, which is about 500 or 600 yards apart. That was my 6th or 7th launch attempt. I'm laying on the ground. Sweat is pouring down my face. It's the middle of summer in Florida, and I'm weeping from pain. I might be having a seizure from my nerves just like firing off because of my back injuries. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Whether I like it or not, I'm going to do it. It was the same thing when you went through that experience of 100 successful practice launches.
Yep.
And I think that digging deep, that concept that we will overcome.
Our history talks about a lot of pain in our efforts to learn to fly. I want the listeners to know that we have improved dramatically.
Ever so slightly. Yeah.
You're not going to do 100 successful practice launches. That doesn't happen anymore. You're not going to find yourself laying on the ground covered in sweat and crying. You
might.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends
there were
on
a
where
few
you
in this
go to
class
school.
this week that anyway.
No one cried.
No one cried, but they were on the ground sweating profusely. but the effort is worth it. And and because of the improvement in the training and in the equipment and in the everything about it, it's faster. Your learning curve is much lower, and I'm just thinking that this is now a much wider market for folks that need to be able to fly.
It really is. I thought about it. I'm not sure if I said it out loud, so stop me if I did. One of the things I think is really imperative for people to understand is that learning to fly foot launch is extraordinarily physically demanding. That's why we have such stringent limitations upon who comes, because we want them to have a positive experience.
Right.
Learning to fly trike is equally mentally demanding.
It's not so physical, but more mental. There is a special set of skills that need to be learned, but they are learnable.
They are.
If you have enough patience, but it can be done.
Absolutely. All right, we have been talking nonstop for 43 minutes.
Nothing surprises me.
Me either. If you guys are enjoying the podcast so far, you're enjoying the video, the live stream, please leave a comment. Let us know if you have any questions for us. We have a few questions that have come in so far. I'd like to dive deeper into some of Dad's experiences. I want to talk more about his experience of becoming a tandem instructor.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk more about your experience flying at Dog Island, your first foot launch flight, and a few others. But I'd like to jump into questions because this is the Ask Aviator Paramotor podcast.
I'm having to reprint. It's hard.
Sit down. I'll read it for you.
Okay.
For Mr. Farewell,
what
recommendations would you offer to keeping physically fit enough in this sport when age-related flexibility limits and joint pain are more prevalent?
Okay. With flexibility and joint pain, you ought to be thinking seriously about using a trike. Foot launching is going to be an extra challenge if you've got joint pain.
And more than that, it offers a greater risk of injury, in my opinion.
And I don't want to see anybody get hurt. Now, a few scuffs and scratches I can understand, but you don't need to make yourself, endanger yourself or those around you.
Right.
So start mentally thinking about the trike. It is not a downgrade.
It's not.
If anything, now just let me paint this picture for you. It's now the middle of July here in Central Florida, and I can go out on any given day and I'll watch the students that are foot launching wishing they were not.
Yes.
Because I will tool up to them in my trike and ask,
on your lap.
With the wing on my lap, and ask to borrow their sweater if they have one, because I'm going to go up in just a moment and it's cooler up where I'm going. And all I'm going to exert is the palm of my hand that is holding this throttle. They, on the other hand, are covered in sweat and they've been running and they're windless, and I'm going to go fly. So it is not a step back. It's actually a step up depending upon your physical capabilities.
Admittedly.
Now, I will tell you, I've had my other knee replaced.
Yes.
So I have now 2 titanium knees. Why
They
would
cost
I
more than
risk
my car.
permanent injury by trying to foot launch when I can literally roll into the sky for the rest of my life? That's the joy I get to experience.
It is a great thing. That said, how'd you like your first foot launch?
Now that they use that as a teaching tool here, the video. Some of you have seen it. It's hilarious. I did a foot launch and I laughed my backside off because I landed on my backside and skidded to a stop, and it was hilariously funny. But what was the joy was I had my 3 sons there with me, congratulating me that I did a foot launch.
And today, my grandparents bought a house in a place called Dog Island back in 1965, I believe it was, or 63?
Somewhere, 65, 67.
Somewhere in there. So they paid $35,000 for this little cottage on an island that is inaccessible by normal man.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a boat, or you have a plane, or you have a butt fan, you can go there.
Yep.
So you and Mom spent a lot of time on Dog Island.
Yep.
I was there 2 days ago. Got to stop in. Love this spot. Never walking from the airport to the house again. 3 miles in summer heat?
2 miles.
Are you sure it wasn't 13?
Positively 2 miles.
I'm pretty sure it was 13 miles.
It would have felt like 30.
It felt like 30. So I literally got there, went and laid in the bay. And just I had shivers for 30 minutes from the heat, but it was worthy of the investment of time. I'm glad we stopped by. So
it is a beautiful place.
It is a beautiful place, and they have a runway, and they have a few small beaches, and it's called Dog Island because it's shaped like a dog's leg, and it's something that Grammy and Papa left for you guys, and so it's a very special place to us, and you get to fly off of it.
Yep.
And you've almost foot launched again.
Almost. Yeah. The
Dadgum
temptation is real strong to try it on a beach. I figure the sand can't hurt near as much as it does here.
All right. Torqued Off asks, can you do a barrel roll on a trike? Abso-freaking-lutely. In fact, one of the best things that's happened this year is Dad bought a rider thrust with a Foxy trike from Fly Products. Mm-hmm. And most of the time now he's flying tandems. And so on the days where there's no wind and I don't want to run on my Freeride 16, I add the extra 20 pounds and I fly his Foxy trike, and I can barrel roll it real well.
I'm just hearing this for the first time. I'm moving my Foxy trike to a new airport.
Yeah. Jeff Stang says he's seen a trike do a wing over. So have I.
Yeah.
Scary man. Jeanette Gauthier says, Mr. Farewell, what would be your dream destination to fly with Eric?
A dream destination to fly with you? I would love to fly over the Tetons. I would love to be able to fly over the Yellowstone River. And the Snake River. Oh, man. Golly, gorgeous.
I was talking to Mike, who I met at Overland Expo, who's the publisher of Guns and Ammo, and he has this deep passion for adventure too.
Now, second would be Mount Shasta.
So Heath is in here right now. Heath is in here.
Hello, Heath.
No, he's invited us. He said we can come on those dates. It's just a question of the airfare, which is very expensive, and the rental cars are very expensive. But I think we might have to make that happen.
Yep.
In Northern California, near Sacramento.
Northern California. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, so we may have to make that happen.
Or the Tetons. Or
I will say this really quick. Nina just put in the comments that safety announcement barrel rolls and wingers are not recommended with trikes. They're 100% totally fine if you have the requisite experience. There's no issue doing it. I understand the safety announcement, but if you're flying a light trike especially, like the Foxy,
19 pounds. Yeah.
It feels like foot lunch. It feels barely any different. It feels like I ate a big Thanksgiving dinner, which I do frequently, and then did acro. So it's not bad.
Okay,
it's not a bad thing.
Good.
I would certainly encourage anyone that if you have the experience, don't hesitate. All right. So lots of great places. I will re-answer Dad's question here and say that I want to fly with my dad in the Czech Republic. One of the ultimate experiences I've ever had is flying the Czech Republic. Flying through 3 different climate zones in 3 hours. That is absolutely exceptional. Brian Burley said,
what?
It went away. It went away. Bob delivers one great tandem. If you're in the foot launch trance. I'm going to try to remember all this. Brian Burley, who's in our last class, says that Bob delivers one great tandem. If you're in the foot launch class, he gives you great motivation to put an extra elbow grease so you can fly. Yes. That was difficult.
Thank you, Brian.
Man,
I'll pay you tomorrow for that wonderful compliment.
Can you fly a light trike with a regular PPG wing like a Spider? Stranger danger, yes. Actually, I fly the Foxy trike with the exact same wing I would foot launch, all the way up to advanced and expert level gliders without any hesitation whatsoever. I have to have the expectation right now. For instance, when Travis and Kyle were here, even though they're flying a smaller glider than I am the most heavily loaded on my glider. Kyle's 130 pounds, 125 pounds on a 15. Travis is 155, 160. I'm 195, anywhere from 180 to 195. 205 depends on the day. On a 16, dinner, right. So I'm on a larger glider, but a much higher wing loading. Right. So if I'm adding an extra 20 pounds to that, I might choose to grab the 17 or the 19 to get the same performance, because you will lose more altitude doing aerobatics if you're more heavily loaded. There's definitely a balance point. So all right, we have more questions, guys. We are almost an hour in, which means we're about 6 minutes from a 5-minute break, so we can catch our breath. Let's jump back to the notes, please, Nina. Command tab. All right. I'm always looking forward to the electric parameter updates. I don't think I can make EA. Will there be some updates on here around the same time. Thomas, yes, actually, we're going to be picking up our initial prototype electric paramotor at Oshkosh EAA next week. I would expect our first flights with it to be happening in the next 2 weeks. Our biggest challenge right now is adapting our servo and throttle control from our Aviator throttle and adapting that into a servo system that will drive the electric motor, because currently it's running off of an RC system, which is cool, but I'd like to have a system that utilizes a cable. Just because I'm old school. I've flown the wireless shuttles Nirvana has. Never had an issue with them. This is back in the early prototyping days 5 years ago. No issues, but I would always,
You like the mechanical side.
I like redundancy, and there is no redundancy in either, but at least this one I'm more comfortable with because I have more experience with it. All right, Jim, Sierra 120 asks, fall 2020 training dates, are they coming out soon? No, I'm sorry, they're not. We will release fall dates around the first of the year. Our issue with releasing summer and fall dates is simply that we're adding more schools. And to add more schools, we have to add more staff. We have to have more facilities. We have to have more equipment. We have to have everything that goes into it. My dad, how many employees do we have at the max with Lifetime?
Lifetime.
23?
15 off our back porch.
Plus all the
Plus
reps.
Then the reps, 8 families.
So 23.
Yeah.
So December of this year, we had 4 employees. Now we have 16 between employees and contractors, and it's growing literally every week. So we had a great team, and we had really good processes that got overgrown by the demand. And so now we're trying to implement proper processes and add proper teams so we can grow like you guys did. But we aren't doing it incrementally, we're doing it exponentially. So we can't release dates if we can't promise and know where we're going to be. We would love to have more schools in Florida, schools in probably at least 8 other states next year. That would be really cool. It'll probably be 3. 3 would be great. We'll see how it goes. Excuse me. Kyla OG says, Mr. Farewell.
Yes.
Spicy guacamole or regular?
Spicy guacamole or regular? Where's that coming from?
We finally have trolls. We have people who
spicy
come on just
regular,
to ask ridiculous questions.
Regular, please. Regular.
Spicy. I'll take the spicy. And I'm so thrilled to have them. So thrilled to have the trolls. You got to have the trolls to have fun. All right. Ripman Writing says, thanks for hosting the Sky Pirates Poker Room this past weekend. Great turnout. Were you here, Ripman? Do I know you? Did I meet you? Yeah, we had a great time. So I actually want to talk about this a little bit. Were you out here on Saturday?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. You were. Yeah, you were out here.
Got the chairs.
It was actually really sad because there were 2 guys. One is Gorilla Ground, also. Rick's dad. Really sad that you left right before you got to say hi to him.
Yep.
So to tell the story of what happened. So PPG Gorilla, whose name is Rick Davies, awesome guy. He wanted to come train with us, didn't work out schedule-wise. We had a really good conversation, relationship through his entire training process. He decided to put together, along with Carl McCall, a quick, kind of fun poker trip. They were going to go from Wauchula to Avon Park to Lake Wales. Ripman Writing says, I gave you gas. Which one are you, Ripman? I remember, but I don't know which one you were. I gave 3 people gas. What's that? Gotta lift this up so it doesn't pop so much. Sorry. So, anyway, so they put together this poker run where you'd fly from one airport to 2 others, and their plan was that there was $25 entrance price, and after that, whoever got to the end would win. They'd support Resurgence PPG. It'd be a win-win on all the sides. I think on Thursday they had 12 people registered. On Friday they had around 20, and on Saturday 50 showed up. So we had 50 pilots scouring the skies, landing and picking up cards to have this poker run, and it was fantastic. And I got the opportunity because we at Aviator we supported the whole thing, because pretty much if you decide to do something cool in the paramotor community that supports the whole community, that's not divisive, that's actually builds people up, we will 100% always support you. I don't care what you're doing. We're going to talk some about Bo's Adventure in a minute. But we're always going to support whatever it is. I don't care where it is in the country. If we can't be there, if you want $100 cash prize or credit for something at Aviator, whatever we can do to support the community at large, we will support it. And I was so ecstatic because I'd planned on flying it in the airplane because my wing's been lent out to Texas, and I was like, I want to fly. And then they said, well, we're leaving at 6 a.m. And I said, what?
Yeah.
So at 7:30, after I'd done my paramotor flight, I hopped in the airplane with Ed McLeod. We flew to Avon Park, passed a bunch of guys, got to pass Manuel. Manuel?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet guy. And I'm flying at him at 200 and something miles an hour in the airplane, and he starts doing wing overs trying to get away from me. And I was like, I know who you are. You're not getting away from me. So I started circling him. And about 5 minutes later, I get a text. He's like, was that you?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that was me. So it was great, though. We landed at Avon Park. Tons of people there. Great turnout. Came back up here. We had hot dogs and all the giveaways. And I got to have the opportunity to actually give a little speech where, I don't know if this is applicable throughout the rest of the nation, but in Florida, generally paramotor communities are extremely divisive.
In Florida,
you have a group this direction who hates all of us because, they charge too much for training. There's a group south of us who hates all of us because we fly different equipment. Another group further south that hates all of us because we sell the equipment they used to. There's all these different, and there's different groups that hate each other. And this is the first time I've seen something that really brought people together for a common good, for a common experience that wasn't a fly-in where they get in their own camps. This was small enough where people all were together, and it was so inspiring. And we've never been haters. Like our students, our instructors, everyone always works to try to build up everyone around them. But it was so freaking cool to see people come together.
Too. We can do that again.
People can do it again here. They can do it in other states. I think that it could be very influential to try to better the sport, whether they're supporting nothing but local pilots, they're supporting Resurgence, they're supporting what will become the Aviator Foundation. There's so much good that can come about from the sport. And what I said in the speech on Saturday is that the reality is, while there's all this derision and issues that are created because of big personalities, the reality is that we've all had our lives changed by flight. And if we can focus on that and try to better each other for it, life will be better for all of us.
Yep.
And I was really proud of them. It was really a really good thing. So, all right, we've got lots more people in the chat. Ripman says, I gave him fuel. He was in the blue Aviator shirt. Dude, I had no idea it was you. You got to put like your call sign on your T-shirt down from now on, man. That's too freaking cool. Glad to have you. Thanks for using the fuel, and thanks for the $20. Let's see. I've heard that SIV courses do not allow a reflex wing. Would a Mojo Power be a better first wing until you go through your first SIV course? Mojo is a fantastic first wing choice. It's a wing you'll keep in your quiver forever because it will keep you safe and inspire you to fly as well as possible. Cannot encourage you enough. Would you hit? Can you make that a little bit smaller? Nina, it's hard for me to read the screen. It's a little oversized. It's really. There you go. Now I can read it. Resurgence PPG, great to see you, my friend Todd. I can't wait to see you at Oshkosh. We're arriving on Sunday afternoon. I'm not sure when you are. Let us know so we can try to make it all work in the booth. Let's see. Any other things? Resurgence, Todd, great to have you, man. Craig Taylor, great to see you as well. We're going to take a quick break because it's now been over an hour of one or the other of us jabbering on. So please prepare your questions. If you have questions, we're going to dive into questions and do our best to serve you here in just a moment. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Cool. Clear.
Oh,
Yeah,
clear.
That's goal point.
Nicely done.
All right, I need to be a little more aggressive. Throw. Oh.
Nice.
Right, and we was teaching you to follow your knee down, but now there's an actual handle here. If you look down to the side, you see that handle.
Yeah.
So, even if nothing else, if you're flailing, your arms are flailing, bring your, head for your knee and slide back.
Gonna pull it out.
Pull it out.
Out to get the bag out of its carrier.
Right.
You're gonna pull it across your chest.
Then you can wait.
You're gonna
And
search
then you're
for
gonna-
a clear area. You want to look for a clear target to throw to, and then
Exactly.
throw hard.
And throw it hard.
Okay.
what it is you're pulling out. You'll be pulling out a bag that looks just like that.
Yeah.
And inside that is the reserve. On the outside of it are the lines for the reserve, and they're daisy chained back and forth with rubber bands. So when you pull this thing out, it's going to have lines on it. The other side of it's going to have the connection point of all those lines are going to be attached to a bridle that comes
come
back
up
up
over
here.
here,
That's not
and
going to interact with you at that point. So you're going to pull it out, pull it across your chest, wait, and throw it. Swing it and throw it. When the reserve deploys, that handle and that orange bag, they go away. They just float away. It's only holding and encasing the parachute itself.
Yeah. So this actually, this little casing that actually pops open.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it's attached to that. This is attached to the bag in the casing. When you toss it, the line spools out and rips it out of that bag, and the bag just floats away.
The little orange silk liner in the handle
Yeah.
float away. The reserve then catches relative wind and deploys.
And hopefully then you can
And
start
then you start
grabbing
disabling.
one of
Yep.
your lines.
Try to pull it all the way
Pulling
in.
the
Try to
lines
disable
in.
that glider to prevent downplaning.
And
And
then-
hopefully, if everything goes right, you're in a PLF, hugging a big ball of your paramotor or your paraglider, and preparing for that PLF. I don't know. There we are.
That was
That was fantastic.
pro move.
Can you remind me of the mnemonic? Kill, look,
Kill, look, pull,
pull,
clear.
clear.
So just
Throw.
do it one time without
Yep.
doing it. Just look,
Yeah, we'll talk
kill,
through it.
Yep.
look where the
Kill, look, pull.
Oh.
Clear. And then put back in because I didn't it that time.
That's the whole point.
Glider
of it.
returns to
Glider-
throw. To fight.
This is why we don't have a reserve on when we're flying new students. Because you might say to a student, pull your reserve. We are just going to practice a reserve toss. Poof. Poof. Oh, sorry. That's why we don't teach with reserve.
Right to the board.
Because we have Brian's in the class.
All right, Brian. For real this time. Throw. Kill. Look. Pull. Clear. Throw. Oh, there it is.
It's still open. It's still open there.
Oh, disable the glider. This one. We're doing our best to get you the basics down, but you're in survival mode. You're gonna do whatever you got to do to keep riding this ride until the airplane is back in the bag. You know what I'm saying? So this is not the time to check out. This is not time to watch your life flash before your eyes or anything like that. You need to stay committed to this maneuver until your feet are safely back on the ground. You're constantly working. Once you're done, once that reserve is out and it's overhead, you got to disable that glider. You got to get everything in to help prevent downplaning. You got to get in that good PLF, and you got to keep working the problem until the problem is solved.
All right. Kill.
Nice. Nice. Hit the mark. Hit the mark.
Throw. Kill. Pull. Nice.
What do you forget?
Look. Cool. Go. Nice.
Nice.
Hello and welcome back to the Ask Aviator podcast, episode number 19. Thank you guys very much for the
Hi, Sarah.
opportunity. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, you guys, Nate Goodwin and Sarah Goodwin are in the chat, or as we call her, Smiles. She is just absolutely fantastic, and I have on good authority they're moving down here.
Oh, I hope so. They are just some of the best, sweetest, and can't wait for that new baby.
I can't wait either. If it smiles as much as her mama does,
Oh, yeah, we're good.
It'll be good. So we have a lot of great content in the chat right now. I have to give a huge shout out to suddenfashion.com, who heard 2 podcasts ago that he needed to quit smoking. 6 days ago, he quit smoking.
Outstanding.
And he's coming to train with us August 10th. Can't wait to have you. For those of you who haven't signed up yet, we still have some slots open for our PPG 3 class starting on, I believe, August the 3rd. It's going to be a 2-day class, Saturday, Sunday, with a rain day on Monday. If you guys are interested in learning how to get your PPG-3, going through the processes and the steps, please reach out to us. We'd love to have you as a part of that. We're doing our best to continue to bring more and more additional training to the table, things that will inspire people to do more.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
trike transition class.
Well, trike transition is good. Thank you, Nina. I want to talk a little bit about your experience.
Okay.
Going from being a very experienced high time. Your Nirvana motor had 1,000 hours on it.
Yeah.
You went from being a very experienced trike pilot to being a brand new baby tandem instructor.
Gosh, it's 72. Brand new baby sounds good to me.
I got to be your daddy for once.
Yeah. Okay. I love the training because you told me it was only the second time in your life that you allowed someone else to fly you.
Yes.
And I thought, the chance for revenge.
It was still slightly terrifying for me, but Dad did a great job. And since then, you've helped several others like Heath Burrison and several other folks get their trike transition classes done, their tandem transition classes going. This is not whiskey, guys. This is Chardonnay, and it's a large pour. Thank you, Nina. I'm not going to finish it. But Craig Couch, if you send some whiskey, maybe it would be whiskey.
No, don't do that.
Hey, don't shut down my supply lines. It's great to have free whiskey. No, so talk about your experience and what it's been like to share flight with others.
Well, to be a tandem instructor requires a block of hours, significant hours. I know there's a romance that we've had a number of people that come up and say, I want to buy that trike tandem so I can take my wife for a trip around the world. I go, no. You need to amass hundreds of hours of skill sets so that before you put another human being in front of you and you put both of your lives at risk, you've got to be confident and experienced and get good training. Don't just think you can do this. It requires somebody oversight. And it was very helpful to have you help me. And as a result, I've been able to help others. And it's been fun. I've taken up other pilots, one in particular, Mike Brown, who's got, 18 years of flying, 19 years flying experience. And he was ever so patient with my teaching, and he taught me, and I taught him. It's been great. But the joy of taking up another human being for their first experience in power paragliding is second to none.
Right.
That, to me, is worth all of the effort. So if it's something you want to set as a goal, it is. Now, I'm modifying some of my goals.
Okay.
I would like to barnstorm with my trike, my tandem trike. That means I would like to send out to all of our past students and let them know that in October, November, and December, I'm hoping to do some serious travel. And if I do that, if I put this goal together and it happens, I'm going to be dragging a trailer with a tandem trike behind me. I want to come and stay with you and put some of your significant other friends and family into the air so they too can experience what you experience. I want to be able to spread the gospel of flying. Now, that being said, keep in mind that, buying your loved one a flight is a great gift. It's like, especially for those that have everything, but they've never flown a powered paraglider. A tandem flight is extraordinary. Now, it is probably what I have found to be the most relaxing form of flight. Is they sit in this very comfortable, it's like a lazy boy in the sky.
Yep.
They sit there with their arms in front of them. We take off into the air, and all of them say, I expected a lot more. They experience something that they did not expect.
It's much more peaceful than anticipated.
Far more peaceful.
Yeah.
And there's just slow, easy turns, and we just have a great time. And then we're able to fly down and to get close to where the birds are. We don't disturb them. We just love watching them. And we fly. When we're blessed, we have some eagles that have a nest that is empty in the area. We fly up and over them. But all over the country, I had the privilege of driving from California to Florida with my younger brother 2 years ago. 23 days, and I didn't see a single powered paraglider the entire time.
Right.
That's a lot of sky
A
that
lot of
needs
sky.
us in it.
Yeah.
And so I want to be able to barnstorm. If you think it's a great idea, send us a text that you would be willing to host. And I will bring the unit to you, and we will put some of your significant others into the air.
So Craig Taylor.
Craig Taylor says
You remember Craig?
Yes.
One leg Craig.
Absolutely. My joy.
I see Craig every time I go to the bathroom now.
Why?
He's in the bathroom. The picture of him on the wall.
Oh, I don't pay attention to the pictures in the wall, but
No. So there's a couple things I wanted to address on this. One is that my dad gave me this sense of adventure because when I was 3 years old, you bought a Trans van, and you loaded up 2 kids at the time. Ended up being 5 kids.
Over time.
In Trans van to Southwind, to Pace Arrow, to Bluebird bus, to MCI bus, and we spent anywhere from 5 to 7 months a year on the road.
Right.
And that adventure, that concept of being able to sleep at a different place every night and to be able to experience things was absolutely empowering. I hearken back to the barnstorming days. If there was one time in life that I'd love to have been alive, I want to be buddies with Howard Hughes.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go and hang out with Lindbergh. I want to go fly a Waco taper wing through farmers' fields for money. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. But first off, I think it's incredible that you want to do this. I think it's empowering. It's the first I've heard of it, but that's what this podcast is for.
I'm looking for funding. I'm just saying funding for
yeah.
Tandem Bob and his world tour.
Bobby Fresh. No,
Wherever
so
that came from.
what we have to do is we definitely need to get you out there. One of the things I want to address is a really critical thing, and this is something that we've seen for since Aviator started. I've had people contact us and say, "Hey, I want to learn to fly. I want a motor that is sufficient for me to do tandems with my wife or my kids or my whoever." And I tell them, it's like, if you want to buy a motor that's sufficient for you to do tandems, that's like being a 15-year-old trying to buy an F1 car so eventually you can race it. Start with an Accord. Now, the motor's fine. You can buy this motor right here. It'll do great for tandem someday. But don't have that as your priority. Have your priority be learning how to drive safely.
Yes.
I didn't fly my wife. I had probably 2,000 plus hours of paramotor time, 1,300 or 1,400 hours of fixed wing time before I took my wife on her first tandem. I took a couple hundred other tandems, but I never took her. She was either pregnant or nursing for a really long time, and to me, it was such a high risk that if 2 of us were in a situation where I made a mistake, it would be an unforgivable mistake. You know, I've seen people who I've known, acquaintances of mine, kill their passengers flying into a river, making decisions that were to do something cool and the engine quits, you know, and it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. So if your priority is to fly with your family, go get your private pilot's license. Or think of this like getting your private pilot's license where you're going to put in the work. I still haven't taken my kids flying. I'm desperate to. They're desperate for me to.
I did have an Aviator PPG student.
Andres?
Andre was one, but no, this was, I'd have to look it up. But he had an 8-year-old son who was fearful of heights.
I'm terrified of heights.
And his dad said, well, would you like to take a tandem? It's on a trike, and it's a lot like a go-kart. And the 8-year-old
8-year-olds
said,
like go-karts.
And the 8-year-old said, well, I could do that. And so I took this 8-year-old on a tandem with his father's permission. Everything was good to go, and I did everything as possibly I could to be as safe as it possibly could. And as we took off, we got to 10 feet in the air, and we're on comms. He can speak and hear. And he says to me, can we go higher? At 1,000 feet, he says, can I go higher? And I went, yes, but we're not going to go higher. We're going to go down and we're going to give you the cow's eye view. This young man had the best experience. And so I want to encourage you, yes, you can take your families, you can take other people's families up once you've acquired the hours and the skill sets necessary to make this the safest possible.
And the big thing that I think is imperative to teach, and I learned this from my examiner when I got my private pilot's license, is the most important thing to teach is how do you teach your students or your passengers how to stay safe, how to be inspired, and how to stay safe. So instead of just going for a quick flight that's fun, I take the time to say, hey, if something goes wrong with me, here's what you do. If something goes wrong with the equipment, here's what you do. If we land in the water, here's what you do. Having the time, taking the time to really focus on ensuring their survivability. Mind you, flying a paramotor is not much more dangerous than driving a car. And you don't tell your kids how to break out the windows in your car. No. But it's important to know that there's an axe on the left side of my airplane that will smash out the Lexane canopy, because it's the only way you're getting out if we flip over. It sounds ridiculous, but my passengers need to know there's an axe on the left side of my canopy, and there's a fire extinguisher back here if something catches fire. Like, I want them to know what to do, right? So we try to make the best decisions possible, especially when you're flying tandem. You make the best where we lay out. You make the decision that's 10 times safer than you need to be. You make the decision on weather 10 times safer than you have to be, because when you have someone else's life on the line, it's so imperative to be critically safe.
Yeah, I don't want to have to live with myself if I injure someone as a result of a mistake I made and could have avoided. No, we double check, and double check.
I go further than that. I won't lay out in a place where I'm not 140% sure that I'm going to take off, because I don't want their first experience with a takeoff to be a negative one. It sounds goofy, but I'll walk across the airport.
Well, I will teach every passenger that goes with me. They learned clearly the words successful practice launch. Not that Bob blew another one. This is a successful. Say that with me, and they do, and we get a giggle. But fortunately, we don't have many successful practice launches with the tandems. They're very good, very safe.
Well, this guy's making it look too easy. Although I will say, every once in a while, I feel like I'm a really good pilot. 2 weeks ago, I got to take Nina for her first tandem.
Yeah.
We laid out next to two buildings, and we had to launch between all these things, and made it look good.
Made it look good.
I made it look good.
If you would like a safer flight, come see me, Nina.
It was totally safe.
Yes. Come see
the totally older,
safe, wiser one, the one who will get you into the air and speak poetry to you while we fly.
You know poetry?
No, but I'll make something up.
Nina's in.
She's in. Good.
All right. So is that a Maverick in the middle in the table? No, this is a Flypodix Eclipse. This is an Eclipse with the Moster 185 and electronic fuel injection. I think this one's actually going to Indiana, to Midwest PPG. They're interested, by the way, Nina. They want this one. So if they don't know, it's still available. All right. So lots of great comments and things coming in. I wanted to talk briefly, because I promised it earlier in the live stream, about Oshkosh next week. We have a consideration, something we're trying to figure out what to do, because generally the Wi-Fi / cell service at Oshkosh is less than abysmal, better than non-existent. It's like what you used to have on your Nokia phone. It's basically what we have at Oshkosh. So if you understand that, you need to understand that we would really like to do a live stream there and do a standard podcast like we have in the past, but we're considering doing a live Q&A session probably on Thursday, and letting people come in, and we'll film it live. We'll do like a podcast style thing like this, where they talk into the camera, and then we release it as a live video. It'll probably still be 2 hours long, and you guys can still comment live, but we won't be able to interact with you. I'm not sure what you guys think of that. We can interact through chat, but it won't be the same. So let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on that, because we can try to do a live stream. I
think it would be worthwhile just to be there.
Right.
Have a sense of being there.
So who all is coming to who all is going to Oshkosh? And as I ask this, I have to ask each of you guys, if anyone is coming from the North Carolina area or passing through Charlotte, North Carolina, I just heard from Todd Scandrett from Resurgence PPG that he's not going to be able to make it. He's got some family health issues. He's not going to be able to make it to Oshkosh. We're supposed to share a booth. And literally, I read his text, opened my emails during our break. We just got upgraded to a larger booth, so now we have space, so that as before I was concerned that we wouldn't have enough space. Now we have the space required, so...
We need to pick his stuff up.
I want to pick up his tent. I want to be able to have, mind you, we're starting the Aviator Foundation. We're doing our very best to support people who aren't just veterans, but we believe so deeply in Resurgence's entire mission that we'll probably be the biggest donator. Like, Aviator Foundation will probably be the biggest donator to Resurgence. That's our goal. So if you are passing through from South Carolina north, from Florida north, if you have time to go through Charlotte and you can pick up Todd's tent, we will keep it safe. We'd love to represent for Todd. So please email or contact Todd, contact us. Very important to us that we are able to promote Resurgence there. We would very much like to be able to support their mission. So let us know. I'm literally heartbroken about the idea that they're not going to be there, or that Todd's not going to be there, mainly because he owes me a few things. And I get to give him so much crap for his Tide Pod wing. But you do what you have to do. So let us know, please. I know that, Drew Solano. Maybe Drew's going through Charlotte on the way north.
Yeah, he's leaving from...
We'll have to find out. Todd, please reach out to Drew. He's leaving from Savannah, so there's definitely a possibility there. People are saying try the live stream. We know that everything's terrible. Yeah, all right. We'll see what happens. We may do a test stream on Monday night and see how things go. If we can get a live stream, awesome. If we can do a live stream and a question and answer session that's recorded, that would be fine also. It really depends on what connection we can get. So. We are going to be doing Q&As and meetups about multiple different things throughout the week. We learned from our friends at Expedition Overland. They do a meetup every day, sometimes twice a day. They have a ladies meetup one night, which is really cool. They have, how do you choose your truck? What are the first modifications you make? All these different concepts of things you should do. And so we're going to do a similar concept of like ready to learn to fly. Come ask questions. We're going to give a 5-minute presentation on what you should do when you're ready to learn to fly, when you're ready to become an advanced pilot, when you're ready to become an aerobatic pilot. And we'll bring in really wise people like the Martin brothers and people who can offer advice on those things. So we're going to do meetups every day. There will be a schedule posted on our Facebook page, Instagram, and in the booth. So check that out. Darvin, good to see you, my friend. We're looking forward to having you there as well. That'll be great as always. And Woody's Gamertag will never come to Oshkosh because he thinks airplanes are dumb and doesn't understand that aviation's bigger than just butt fans.
Yeah, but not nearly as fun as butt fans.
I don't know, man. I flew.
No, I don't want to hear how you flew.
Man.
I have only flown powered paragliders, and that's all I ever want to fly. Thank you.
And I say hashtag fly all the things.
I know.
Fly all the things. All right. I'm going to jump back to notes really quick and see if we can see a few more questions that we might be able to answer for you. Mr. Blue says, would quick release carabiners be any good in an emergency, or would they be cumbersome? I don't see any valid reason for them unless you're flying into a gust front. It's the only reason I see them being a valuable mission. Stephen Fay says, is there a motor harness you would recommend for a female's build? Absolutely. The Eclipse is fully adjustable. The one behind me right here is fully adjustable down to a very small frame and allows you the lightest paramotor on the market at 37 pounds. Comfort, shape, weight, performance, any that you would... that one I can't understand. Sorry, I think it was a continuation of the question. Comfort, shape, weight, and performance. Yeah, basically the Eclipse or the Maverick with the smaller harness would both be fantastic. David Wolford asks, I have a small airport near me that small planes usually do touch and goes. Would this be a good place to ask if I can fly from? I'm clueless, I know. We're going to do a video sometime before September 15th. There's a writing on the wall, John. About legality in using airports, public use and private use, ways you can go about it. We have spent so much time and so much money investing in legal help to ensure the continuing public allowance of utilizing public use airports. We're about to undergo another one potentially in the Midwest that we have discovered that has outlawed all ultralights since 1981 completely unlawfully, simply because they didn't think it would fit. And the reality is that I totally understand as a fixed-wing pilot, particularly of a very fast fixed-wing airplane, I totally get the concern. but there are ways to make things play well together. And when you receive federal funds, it's imperative that they work together as best as possible. And it's really important. So we are going to make that video. It'll probably might be a multi-part video. I don't know. Might be a live stream. We'll see. We'll work on that for you. Diane Carroll, would you recommend a side or lap mount reserve for foot launch? I like the side mount because you don't have to continually place it back across your chest. Dad, you've been flying with both. What do you think?
I like the side mount. Yep.
The only thing I miss is when I was thermaling, I put Velcro on the back of my phone, and I had my Vario on top of my chest. Plus, it was great because I used to FaceTime the family when I was flying, which was pretty fun.
Well, I have both hands on the risers and don't take them off.
Yeah. Yep. So side mount for me is a definite win. I would definitely prefer the side mount. Please talk about long distance flight, self-contained, like a cross-country east to west coast, unassisted, and how you would go about planning that. All right, this is a great opportunity. We're going to drop the video tomorrow. My friend Bo Feldman, 18 years old, private pilot, working on his A&P, homeschooled, one of 11 children, maybe 12 children, I can't remember which. 12 children. He has 11 siblings. Bo is going to be on the live stream when he gets back from Oshkosh. He just doesn't know it yet. Sunday, I flew to Middle Georgia to deliver him a new engine because his engine blew up. Because he's flying from Denelwin, Florida to Oshkosh, Wisconsin on his paramotor.
1,200 miles.
1,200 miles, of which he's covered like 500 in the first 3 days.
Whew. That's a lot of territory and a lot of hills he's got to climb.
He has done an exceptional job. There's going to be in fact, we'll put a link in right now. It's a Bo Feldman Paraventure, I think. Look up Bo Feldman on Facebook. You'll find his information. He's doing live streams at every stop. And they're really great stories. He was telling a story about traveling across a forest and across the Smoky Mountains, and how intimidating it was to go across the Smoky Mountains knowing that his only out was none.
Yeah, well, where he found little tiny spots where he could maybe land.
Right.
Well, that's sketchy to me.
So Bo is an adventurer. He's wild at heart as can be, and he really deeply loves this sport. And he's when I met him the first time, I thought, okay, that's a really skinny kid who's, he's a homeschooler like me. And then, which ironically enough, he's about the same weight I was when I was 18, about 6 inches taller. But he has such a deep energy for adventuring. And I think we'll be adventuring together before the year's out.
I got to take his dad up for a tandem.
Did you?
Yeah.
How was that?
I loved it.
Does his dad fly?
His dad is a pilot, but he's not a paragliding.
Interesting.
Paragliding pilot, no. And now he wants his younger brother to get a tandem.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so check out Bo's page. It's facebook.com/Bo, B-O, Feldman, Feldman, Paraventure, Paraventure. There will also be links in the descriptions of the podcast, etc., if we can make that happen for you. And there will be a video on our YouTube channel probably tomorrow, which will be the 17th of July. We have a few more questions I want to answer. It's getting a little bit late. Right now, we're about 30 minutes past my dad's bedtime.
No, I'm good.
I'm
good.
For
another hour and a half.
Lon Brotman says, I'm 57, my knees are no issues, but I lack shoulder flexibility on how far my shoulders should go back. How flexible for flying is needed? Really depends on what you're flying. If you're flying something like the Vertigo Trike where it has A-assist, it's not that necessary to have your arms go too far back. Right, Dad?
Correct.
Have you flown the Vertigo yet?
Yes.
What do you think of it?
The Vertigo is unique. It has an unusual power band that takes a larger wing and turns it into a helico. So you have to make sure you marry the right size wing with that unit.
Your issue is that the brakes were set too high.
I don't know. Yeah, I had 5 successful practice launches in one day.
Did you get to fly one once that you enjoyed?
I've had several flights with it
Okay.
since. I just downsized my wing size, and everything came up just fine.
Okay, good. I love the Vertigo. I was flying on the Mojo Extra Large at 185 pounds, and the center of gravity is so low. I don't want to say it's so easy. It's like cheating, but compared to the trikes that you and I learned on, where if the wing goes 15 degrees off, you're tipping over.
Yeah.
This is like the wing tips on the ground and you're still flying.
Yeah.
And that's really nice.
Yeah. And the A assist looked like a real winner too. Yeah.
They do. They really do.
I have not used that though.
Steel Mesh asks, when flying in turbulence, how much active piloting is required to maintain a safe level of control? I'm going to quote Andrew Solano earlier today in my office. He had a great phrase. He said that every collapse is either pilot-induced or weather-induced. If it wasn't pilot-induced, it was weather-induced. So the safe level of active piloting is enough to keep it from being weather-induced and too little to make it pilot-induced. How's that?
That's confusing, but yeah, I think I get it. Yeah.
Kind of makes sense. Any news on the para-aerobics video going public? We can probably do something. We're doing it right now just for our students who sign up. We'd like to create a more complex system. Go ahead, Ed.
Oh, speaking of students signing up, we have added a new dynamic to our curriculum.
We have.
Why don't you share with them what this new dynamic is?
Why don't you share with them?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. We've made a decision, we, the collective we, to put all of our students into the air on a tandem with Tandem Bob and Tandem Mike in order for them to get a sense of what they're going to experience after a week of hard effort. They get a taste of the reward for all of their effort. So we're putting that together. We've done it now for this. This is our second class we've done this for, and it's done on the very first morning,
which is
of
so
the
rewarding.
Very first day of class. So before they even walk into the classroom, they have had the experience of flying, and now they get it. And now they can say, "Okay, I'll keep busting my backside until I get myself into the air," and they do. And what I've been told is probably one of the best things of the entire week.
That's really the goal,
with Tandem
is
Bob.
making them
Tandem
safer.
Bob.
Tandem Bob.
Tandem Bob.
Bobby Fresh.
Yes, I don't know who that is.
We had a great question from Dave Hellinger. He said, who is representing the PPG community in efforts to address the illegal PPG ban in unnamed in public use airports?
Who is representing?
We are representing. We always have. We always will. We're always going to work our very best to try to ensure the continued legal usage of public airports that receive federal funding and state funding for aviation activities that in their grant assurances absolutely states that there is zero allotment for economic discrimination or individual discrimination of any kind. So we work really, really hard. We have a fantastic aviation attorney who has been on our side. He's one of our past students. John is just a truly good man. He works really, really hard with us. So anytime we see an issue like this that's brought to the forefront, whether we're offering advice or we're actually the one taking legal action, we're going to do our very best to work with the FAA, our friends at the FAA first, to work with our friends at the DOTs first, to work with just common sense and gracious terms with airport management and city management that don't understand what needs to be done. And then if that doesn't work, then we're going to do our very best to either enable the locals to be able to know what their rights are and know how to fight based upon our experiences, or to help take the fight to them, because it's very important. We have not seen that. This is one thing that I hate to say because it sounds like a negative statement, but we have not seen that from the organizations that have promised that. We haven't seen that from any of the pilot organizations, whether it's ultralight pilots or general aviation pilots. We've seen advice given, but we haven't seen a willingness to fight. And while we never want to fight, we always want to work in a way that's really gracious and happy. We think it's really important that we stand up for the rights that we've been given, whether it's by our founding fathers or by grant administration through the FAA and the FDOT or other DOTs. So yeah, we're always going to be there to be a support system for our students and for our Aviator family. First off, before I get to more questions, hi August, Arthur, and Eloise. It's past your bedtime. It's like 40 minutes past your bedtime. Hi, Nell. My wife and kids are watching. Hi, Mom. Tina's there, my mom. Yeah, she's been there the whole time. I didn't see Nell's comment, but I know that there are others.
She texted me once and said, "Speak closer to the mic." How am I doing, dear?
DM Simpson says, are there still thoughts on putting a get-together on for female paramotor pilots? Yes, it's in the thought process. We're just trying to keep up with everything else right now. I believe that we have another female pilot joining us in August for a visit, and we'll talk to her about potentially helping to organize something. We'd very much love that. Arthur snuck in for a minute. Yay! I love it. Tom Anderson says, at Paracosta with Gigi, we all did tandem flights rather than towing as part of our training. Tandem paramotor flights, pushing you rather than towing, pulling you, is realistic to solo flight. I can agree with that. Especially for foot launch tandem. I can see how that makes a big difference.
I get it. Yep.
Dave Hollinger says, did you say Indiana public use airport that bans all not Indiana, no sir. There's an airport in the Midwest. It's not in Indiana. I don't want to get into details because I don't want to open things up before we get to any further. There's actually not just one airport, but an entire municipality and region of a state that has banned all ultralight aircraft since 1981, I believe it was. All right. Whew. I feel like we've been talking a lot.
Oh, you just read a lot, too.
Yeah, it's a lot. Sandor asked, he said, I bought a kiting harness and a carabiner position slightly different than my first harness that I was used to practice kiting. Does the carabiner position change affect my kiting? Yes, it absolutely does. Carabiner position should be as aligned to what you're used to flying as possible, or just kite so much it doesn't matter. I guess that makes sense. Mom says you're doing much better, Dad.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Here's actually a good question from Robert Weir. He says, when you learn on a trike, do you tow as well? No, we don't. We could. We've tried it. Instead, we've built this crazy contraption that mounts on the back of a UTV that we teach you to kite hand in hand. So it's basically an instructor facing you, working with you. The UTV driver is working on driving into the wind, keeping the wing overhead. You're working with the instructor, and then we do tandems instead of doing towing, simply because we found that is the most agreeable manner of doing things safely, because it's really imperative to do it safely. Yep. You've watched it happen. I mean, compared to our old towing systems and everything else we try to do with trikes.
This is every class. There's an improvement.
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely. All right, guys. There's more questions. I love you all. I'd love to answer more of them. I'm losing my voice just un poquito. But we have a great crew here. I'd like to get Dad back on for more inspirational conversations.
Okay.
Talk more about history and meaning and why we do what we do.
Tandem Bob.
Speaking.
Yes. Okay. Tandem.
If you guys ever get to meet my dad, please call him Dad.
Yes. Or Tandem Bob.
Bobby Fresh.
Not Bobby Fresh. I don't know what that means.
We don't know what it means either. We're a little too young and white. But yeah, guys, seriously, it's truly a pleasure to share things with you every week. I'm not sure if we're gonna have the standard live stream next week or not. Please stay tuned to all of our Facebook pages, both Aviator Paramotor and Paradigm, and our personal pages on Instagram, everything else. We'll do our best to try to share the love and share the excitement of over 600,000 people expected at Oshkosh this year. It's going to be crazy. Our booth is going to be 945 in the ultralight section. I just got word 945. So if you want to come and join us at our booth, get to know our team. We're going to have Nina, John, Alex, Jeff Booth, his bride, and a huge slew of Aviator enthusiasts coming. We've got Woody, Ross, at least 24 others coming. It's going to be a great, great time. Rockwell and Ripley and just everybody. So it's going to be a good time. I'm excited. It's always incredible going to the mecca of private aviation. Right. And I'm going to be working on our secret project for next year. Pretty hardcore. Where I get to follow in my father's footsteps a little more and get to share more aviation with you guys than ever.
Terrific.
So it's going to be good. Very good stuff. Dad, thanks for being on.
My pleasure. By the way, should you ever find yourself on the internet looking for a unique place to go look at pureflightaviation.com.
That's pure. P-U-R-E.
Flightaviation.com.
So if you guys want to come and get your family or yourself a tandem flight, if you're interested in seeing what this is all about, Dad is a great place to go.
Yes.
Because he has such a genuine love. We've talked about on the podcast in the past how much I giggle after every flight.
Yeah.
And you do too.
Every day.
We put on his last strike, we put the word woohoo exclamation point on the back of his strike because he'll fly and just yell woohoo all day long.
Yeah.
And then when he has enough woohoos and the wind gets a little bumpier,
I'm running out of woohoos, we land. It's all part of it.
So, guys, he's also available on Facebook. If you enjoyed this podcast and you'd like to offer a little support, there's a little over 100 people watching right now. Please go on Facebook to pureflightaviation.com. Click like and share the posts and the pages with your family and friends. He'd love to fly with you all. So,
yes.
To everyone watching right now, David, Jim, Saeed, Sudden Fashion, Sandor, Saeed, they're all on the same list right now. Guys, thank you all so much for watching, for being a part of this, for being a part of our Aviator family. If we haven't flown with you yet, we haven't shared this, guys, we can't wait to do so. Our team of instructors here just keeps improving. They keep changing and developing, and it's such an honor. So please come and fly with us. Come see us at Oshkosh. If we haven't met face-to-face yet, we look forward to doing so, and definitely make sure you take the time to introduce yourself, say hello, and we'll have lots of fun very soon.
Come see us here at Lake Wales, Florida.
That's right.
I mean, it's not the end of the world, but there is a clear, unobstructed view of the edge from just down the road. It is a beautiful place to fly, though.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Absolutely looks like Jurassic Park when the fog's out there. It's gorgeous.
It's Jurassic Park, and the only things that are here are oranges and old people.
I know, and beautiful oak trees and eagles and... It is so good.
Oh, it is.
Come to Lake Wales. We'd
Craig,
love it.
Craig Couch, Jeanette Guthrow, Saeed, everyone else who's here, thank you all so much for being a part of the show. To my family, both my mother and my wife and kids at home, hello and thank you for watching. To everyone that's part of the Aviator family, thank you. To Nina and John behind the camera, thank you guys for being here late tonight. To all the puppies who you guys haven't seen yet, thank you guys. We'll see you all next week at some point, and we'll be back for our regularly scheduled broadcast on Tuesday evening. I believe that's the 30th, I think. We'll see. So long, guys. Have a great night.